realised he could get through, at least partially. Amos well up the ground, though. And the ball seemed destined to get over the boundary line. So it's going to be a free kick to Starcevic for insufficient.
So from the corridor to outside to a free kick. Sums it up a bit.
It does.
Having said that, Gaz, it's, 17 points. It's not.
No, that's the
completely out of it. There's still. And they've been here before, albeit in the second half. So 3 minutes to go. The coach would have sent a message out, both coaches, about some sort of control. Although Brisbane have been doing it all quarter. Yeah. Can you own the football? Can you restrict the score with 3 minutes to go?
From the Ashcrofts, Wills kick to half forward. Morris at the front, so impressive. Bailey keeps getting with the ball as Rayner always asks questions that are difficult to answer. Bailey again. They are keeping the ball away. Quick kick in, rapid fire stuff from Morris, not quite enough. Reed back at it. Crowd's nerves are growing. Fletcher can see a way through. To Morris again. And this time the
so sharp.
The hands in and out. Ball just... We talk about speed of ball movement. Well, this goes in and out of their hands so quickly. And Adam's right. At 17 points, it feels like a lot more.
Well, their defenders are feeling it. You can see the uncertainty from Clark. Outward bound again. They make the contest, and then Starcevic is well handled.
They need the siren here just to reset, get in their lines, to reaffirm their messaging, try and get some initiative back.
Look at those uncontested mark numbers. 40 to 12. Sarong swivelling back to Erasmus. And the siege continues. The siege mentality from the Lions. Dunkley, he's the leader of that pack.
They average 93 uncontested marks a game, number one in the competition. They are at 40 with 2.5 minutes to play in the first quarter.
It's the first time Freo have given up 40 uncontested marks in a quarter this year, guys. Yeah, it's off the charts.
It's a hard watch for Nat Fyfe, the competitor that he is. Ashcroft into the pocket. And he relentlessly push.
Don't think he'd be the answer this quarter. No, I don't.
But the competitor within him.
I know. He having some ideas, just like this man on screen, about what to do once we get to quarter time. How do we reset?
15 wins is the most he's ever won on a home and away season, but we know this is an exceptional year. Tap down from Darcy. Flipped away Erasmus. Got big on Bailey.
Zach Bailey's doing his best Lockie Neal impersonation here. He's just stepped in and gone, leave it to me. He should have had probably 3 goals.
Yeah, well, I guess Lockie, but with more of an offensive threat, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's got forward at the right times, had 10 touches.
Chapman decides he can take off. Charlie was closing, and he wasn't far off. Clark has to go. He realised too late. Day wore the contact, and then he drops the footy. And we know how they're calling those tonight. O'Driscoll to Reed, and the instruction is to run. Takes it up with one, bangs it to Voss. Here comes Amos. And listen to those Freo fans roar in approval.
A great mark. You've got to take what comes your way. So Sam Day did exactly what Brisbane, based their game on. Won the ball back in the front half, but just wasn't clean enough to do anything with it. And now this is the difference. They get a result at the other end of the ground, which they haven't been able to do. They've been not a bad transition side, obviously Fremantle, but they haven't been able to do it tonight against the pressure of Brisbane.
Huge moment for Jai Amos. He didn't have a possession until midway through the third quarter last week. But his month before that was pretty good with regular multiple goals. When he was at his best as a young player, he really missed it.
He was, and I mean, this is the flip side. Brisbane have been known for wasting shots in front of goal. They've had 4 shots for him, so it could be, as much as the discrepancy inside 50s is there, could have been a little bit closer.
3 real kickable ones. The Lions also at the other end had opportunity as well.
This will be the first time Fremantle are goalless in the first quarter all year. What a night for that. As we said, the only upside is the damage is not quite as significant as it might be.
Yeah, that is the one thing that they hang their hat on right now. So everything that Brisbane have tried, and they've coached it beautifully and executed magnificently, it's not turned all the damage.
Zorko. Clock down to 15 seconds. There was climbers everywhere. Rayner and Clark first to his feet. Off to Voss. If ever a man could change it, it would be Voss. Top of the square. Switkowski. Not quite.
The message will be to tighten up the uncontested marks, but that does leave the corridor vulnerable, guys. You sort of pull yourself apart a little bit, and suddenly the corridors have got a bit more space in it. So you've got to find the balance to give up these kicks, let them have them, protect the corridor, but don't let them have 3 of them, is the message.
Yeah, and I guess the next thing is, as we've seen, it doesn't allow you to get any pressure and then get some heat on.
Well, what a start for the Brisbane Lions. They have arrived with intent. We know their injury, but we also know their record on the road. And that has continued. An early statement from the Lions on a huge night for both clubs. Fremantle looking to get back in finals for the first time since 2022, and the Lions hoping to go back-to-back on a perfect night. The winner tonight will be with us in September.
All right, folks, there we go. Quarter time here at Optus Stadium. And, of course, it's Brisbane Lions jumping the gate. 3-2-20, kicking straight. The Dockers, Addy. What's going on? 5 behinds. I forgot this game was on. Can you believe it? My gosh. This is definitely one of the games I wanted to do. Thanks for reminding me. I tell you what, 5 behinds. Get kicking straight. That's all I can say. There we go. Hey, the bright side is it's 5 scoring shots all. And, of course, do we want to look at the live ladder there? We don't want to look at the live ladder just yet. There we go. Freo still in 5th. Brisbane Lions are going to be up into 2nd. We don't want that. Let's have a look at the live ladder later. My gosh. Hey, the lineups. I didn't even check the lineups. Let's look at those. For Fremantle, Corey Wagner comes into the team. Oh, my gosh. Isaiah Dudley going out. Big out for Isaiah Dudley in a big game. Nat Fyfe, the sub. I tell you what, he's like a super sub, Nat Fyfe. He was fantastic when he come on the ground last week. Let's hope he can do the same. Maybe they'll get him on a little bit earlier this week. I think they might need him on there. Michael Frederick, 100-game milestone for the Dockers, flag mantle. Brisbane Lions, plenty of changes. Ryan Lester, Brandon Starcevich, Sam Day, Luke Beacon coming in, some big ins. Doe D going out with Henry Smith, Robinson, McLaughlin. Luke Beacon is the new player and sub, and the debut game. There is your lineups. Hey, you want to have a look at some stats? I want to look at some stats. Let's have a quick look. Let's have a look at the goal scorers. There's only 3. A little bit quiet. I thought this might be a high-scoring game. Fyfe will need to be a Superman. So I tell you what, if he played as well as he did last week when he came on, he'll give him a bit. I expect Fyfe to he'd have to come on no later than halfway through the 3rd term, I reckon, if there's no injuries. They've got to get him on. Ryan Lester, Charlie Cameron. Don't let Charlie get too many touches. Zach Bailey, the goal scorers. Come on, Freo, you got to score a goal. Who's got the ball magnets? Oh, Dane Zorko. Who else? I'll tell you what, got to stop him having a big game. He's got 11 with Jasper Fletcher. Zach Bailey, 10. Will Ashcroft, 8. Caleb Sarong. Tell you what, they need him to stand up again tonight, Freo. He's just only had the 6. Come on, son. Murphy Reid, one of their up-and-coming stars of Freo. He's had 6 as well with Neil Aramis. There we go. Dunkley's had 6 also. Let me just roll down a little bit. A lot of the Fremantle players down the bottom there, they need to get a little bit more of the ball. Levi's had 6. There we go. Charlie Cameron just a 5, 3 kicks. Getting plenty of it in the opening term for him. He's kicked that single goal. Josh Tracy, uncharacteristic of him, I think, Eddie G. 2 behinds from 3 kicks. He needs to slot a few. Let's go Freo. I'm cheering on Freo tonight. I want Freo to win. I can say that before all the Brisbane supporters get in the house. But yeah, that'd be good to see Freo do this. This is a game. This is a game you would want them to win. Playing one of the top sides. Of course, make no mistake. I know Brisbane's a little bit off on their game, but when it comes to big games, they certainly get back on song. Paddy Voss, the prancing pony, he needs to get up and trotting away as well. Just the one disposal, 1 kick. Shy Bolton, a little bit shy in the opening term with just the 2. Also, same with Frederick, just the 1 handball. Got to get these boys up and running. Luke Jackson, what's he doing down there? That's unheard of for Luke Jackson. Not a touch in the opening term, just a 4 hit out. So hopefully he can get on ball. Hey, let's just have a quick look while we're on a break. I just want to have a look at the stats. Inside 50s. Brisbane's defence must be holding up pretty well. Look at that. Only 7 inside 50s for Freo. Got to do better than that. But I tell you what, they're 5 scoring shots for their 7 insides. Not too bad. Definitely better than Brisbane's 15 insides for 5 scoring shots. So Freo just need to kick a little bit more accurate. and they'll certainly be in on the job. Of course, free kicks are pretty standard. 6-5, all going right. Freo's winning the hit-outs. They just need to hit that to advantage. Hit it to Caleb Sarong or some of the mids, get them up and running. First use of the ball, get it down there, hit their targets, and she'll be apples. As you can see, 2 setting clearances to 1. So that's not too bad, just around the stoppage clearances. There we go. All right, we're not quite back just yet. Let's have a look at the contested game. Well, it's good to see Dockers. They're +6 in the contested possession, so that's good. Lions, well, they're just chipping the ball around. My God, 40 uncontested possessions at quarter time. What's going on there? Need to get going or season could be over. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember who they play next week. Who do Freo play next week? I can't quite remember that. There we go. Uncontested. Brisbane Lions doing their normal chip and hold game. It's what they like to do. Freo, 2 marks inside 50, so that's pretty good for them. So all things, look, they're ahead on a few of the stats. They've just got to start and kick straight. They've had plenty of chances. Let's hope Freo can get on song in this quarter, snag a few goals. All right, let's head back down to the ground for the second term. That's the Lions by 15. Go Dockers.
Off the back half, so you let him kick the ball 9 times at 90%, then he's going to open you up. And then Bailey in the middle of the ground was a revelation. He was everywhere as an offensive threat as well. Brisbane Lions superb opening quarter. Damage not as bad as it could have been for Freo.
Some inclement weather around the country, but certainly not here in Perth. A beautiful day has turned into a magnificent night. It's a huge occasion for everybody, even the umpires. We're going to have a rebound to start the second quarter.
I'll get that thrown up changed, guys. Work your magic.
Taking one rule change at a time. The ball looped up in the air. Darcy with the tap to Sarong. Instantly they are into attack, and the charge out of the square from Voss. If there's to be a bit of an ignite moment, it could be this one.
Well, it's the perfect combo. It's their biggest strength. It's a centre bounce. It's Sarong and it's Voss playing on Harris Andrews. So perfect start. He's just got to finish this off. It's been, the minimum shots or inside 50s that they've had, they haven't converted. So important kick.
Kick the goal, he'll go nuts. The crowd will get involved. They need it badly.
They'll do a lap of honour.
Exploded over the last 4 games with 15 goals, 3. None more important than this kick. It was worrisome for the moment it left the boot.
But good signs. I mean, the clearance work's the most important piece of their game to get them going. That gives them field position.
Look how animated they are here now. From a Fremantle point of view, you reckon they haven't been told. So that's the one that you're prepared to give them. Yeah, you try and trap them. Try and trap them into one side.
Fletcher, Gardner, movement ahead from Berry and from Archie. Oh, he went somewhere in between.
It's a win.
O'Driscoll, but he misplaces the handball severely. Berry at a rush. It'll work out okay. Or will it? Clark cut off at the pass and goes for goal and gets there. Or doesn't. The end zone was so clearly etched on the face of the Freo supporter.
Review complete. Looking at this angle, we see the ball's touched or possibly back to the goal line. This is really scored.
Fletcher, the hero.
Guys, you can see already, can't you? That just one bit of play is exactly what the coaches would have said. Give them 1, give them 2, don't give them 3, or at least it's in someone's hands who can't kick it like Zorko.
Up on their toes, forward half intercept, a little bit of pressure for the first time coming out of their forward half.
Instead of their first goal, it's their 7th behind. The magnitude of their first getting bigger and bigger. McCluggage, his kick is to Morris. Long way from home. Dockers with extra energy and meaning about the way they're playing. Jackson to Clark again. This time just pushed back for a moment, but his sublime kicking skills comes to the 4 Voss.
First 2 exits have been stopped and coming back. Great start for the Dockers.
Amira calls for it down the line. That's duly ignored. Tracy and Darcy are more prominent figures, but Clark set up nicely.
Coming up to his 8th possession.
So he does what Zorko does for Brisbane, this bloke. He needs to get ball in hand.
Didn't take a mark last week, can you believe, Clark? The kick goes forward. Hands from Starcevic to Marshall. They try and work their way through, but there was danger everywhere. Quick kick from McCluggage, and again it's that name Clark. Contained it to Pearce. Surely he can't kick a goal in regular play, can he? Feeds it back through Jackson. Become a little unstuck. Goes to work again, does Clark. He's literally everywhere at the moment where the footy is.
So the issue with Fremantle, it's Clark or bust really with the skill in the back half.
It's a different Fremantle though in the first few minutes, and Brisbane know it. Brisbane now not getting them free looks they had early.
Even Zorko feeling it. Marshall off to Fletcher, and again towards the line. They'll be coming back one way or the other. And it's Clark again.
Well, he's hit the 10 possessions, had 5 this quarter already, so completely different side.
And waiting on the kick, just a little short. Switkowski, Bolton, trying to get it back to Switkowski. Instead, it's Fletcher breaking tackles, feeding the handballs. Brayshaw came a second time. Levi Ashcroft's kick to the wing. Hipple whacked away by Ryan, again with severe intent. McCluggage, it's okay, to Cameron. Archie demanding the footy, coming up to the kicker, but instead he goes across to Berry.
So that one kick, that one short kick just buys them a bit of time here.
Just able to avoid the spoil was Fletcher. Hard lead from Hipple, lateral lead, which he likes to do.
So they had 6 inside 50s for in that first opening play of pressure and repeat entries, and it was a different looking Fremantle outfit, and they didn't get the reward.
Yeah, Clark had 4 of those inside 50s as well, so really good start for Fremantle.
Tension only growing around this magnificent stadium on a beautiful Friday night in Perth. Sarong, where's it going to come from? Off half-back, Frederick. Haphazard kick, they hope for the best. Voss versus Andrews. Andrews had it controlled, but might have to try and clean up his own mess. Voss taking no prisoners. Handball back to Jackson. Charging the kick forward. Tracy lost his footing. Bolton's balance. Lester will feel it. Gets the kick away, but it's a rush ball. Banfield. Ball relatively behaves itself. Can roll one to the left and target either Frederick or Jackson. Well, it's Frederick who takes them in.
It is a completely different game. It's just spun on its head here. And the fact that the damage wasn't as severe as it could have been in the first quarter is going to hold them in great stead here. It's turned on its head.
That's the 6th forward half turnover they've had. They only had 1 in the first quarter, so good response from the leaders as well. As much as the coaches would have had impact, but the leaders would have stood up at quarter time as well.
Big night for Michael Frederick, obviously. His 100th game. Still not a Fremantle goal.
You just don't know where that's going to go, do you? When it's a free kick in the goal square. So what does Brisbane do now? You know, this kick mark is not working. They've got other levers. They haven't relied on this all year.
And you wonder about the psychology of this too, Simo. So Fremantle feel like they've just chased tail all day. Now they're getting a bit of wind behind them.
Fletcher again, he's been prominent. They're prepared to take the short. Will Ashcroft to Gardner. Still they're pinned down. Good movement though from Berry.
Yeah, this is not corridor stuff that we saw in the first quarter. This is a bit more defendable. Now they're trapped to one side.
So he just takes what he's given, long down the line. Rayner just pushes Pearce at it, got it to the front. Dunkley's hands were good, they were creative. Allows Morris a little path, trusts his left into Will Ashcroft. He'll look to fire either handball or the sharp kick, and he was spoilt for choice. Zach Bailey is always a good option.
The Logan Morris, that's not supposed to happen from your centre forward. He's not the bloke that's supposed to turn around and left-footed inside like he did. And it just opens the whole ground up. So, and the Dunkley hands you called beautifully, Hutto. That's the class of this Brisbane side.
Speaking of class, this man has it, Zach Bailey. He's already had 3 shots for goal, can you believe? The law of averages says, man of his talent, would have been a good chance there. He has had a couple of nights this year where it hasn't come together. That wasn't an easy shot, as you could see.
Feels like Fremantle have got the advantage in the air. Brisbane are trying to avoid that. Both bookends look pretty strong.
So all over the ground.
It looks, yeah, the rucks, the key defenders, the key forwards. It just feels like it's an aerial.
So every part of the ground to kick to, but he did take some territory. Cox using Banfield and Sarong snaps it back to the wing. It's too tall for Brayshaw. Bolton, good competition in the air with Wilmot. Great battle there. Very different players, but both pivotal to the success of their side.
So they've had 7 forward half intercepts, Freo, in the quarter, and whacked it back inside 7 times, and they've kicked 1 point as a result.
But
But it looks better.
a lot better profile.
McCluggage, by means of controlling Levi, so clever to McCluggage again, to Fletcher, rapid fire to Reveal. For a moment I thought he was going to fire away. Instead he tries to play from Marshall's left. He forced to work his way around, takes the kick well. It was nothing significant, was it? Well done from Pearce. Plays it for Amos, out of bounds, wouldn't be a bad result. Just can't afford to give up another one here at Fremantle.
Beautiful night. Gorgeous night for footy. No dew out there. Temperature's perfect.
The occasion is huge for both clubs. Sarong is straight into Ashcroft and out the other side with O'Meara and Frederick now. They're starting to put it together bit by bit, and Frederick's kick to Jackson, fronting up to the man that was bringing him in. And he's a hard man to get around.
So 16 inside 50s, 7 behind. So they're scoring just under 50% when they do go in. It's going to turn at some stage.
It's been their profile. They haven't had a lot of supply, but when they get it, they've had good scoring shots the last 4 weeks. So that hasn't changed. Just the conversion goes. They need one.
One of just a couple of premiership players in this Fremantle team. One right here with Melbourne back in 2021. Again, the kick, it's just a little tentative and it hits the post.
Got the yips.
8 behind. 8. Zorko. Just on that Gardner looking to get it back, but they were ready for it. Some plan B is short to bow. Comes away, Cameron. Tried to work out the means that he could fly for the mark. One from Banfield. Fletcher, tiptoe out.
Just starting to get on top of the clearances. That last shot at goal to Jackson was another sarong wrapping through the corridor. Makes it really difficult for Brisbane defenders to defend those type of exits. You want to protect the corridor.
So goal is through 10 and a half minutes in this second term. No ruck for Freo. Easy. Down the line, Fultz kick. Morris had good access in the air. Well handled by Warner. Banfield, Erasmus. A lot of time to think. Warner shuffled his way through the options. Left footer down the line. Should pay off. Juggling mark from Tracy was excellent. Far into the turf. You can feel it up here above. Big Josh Tracy. Where's he going to send Fremantle? Try marking that thing. Bolton does his best. Reed. And straight in to Big Fort.
Fletcher up to 17 possessions. Zorko the 12 and Bailey 12. For Fremantle, Clark at 11. Sarong's up to 11 now and Reed's sitting at 8.
So the big numbers off half-back, aren't they, for those two Lions players? There's one of them, Zorko.
There's a lot of stuff going right now for Fremantle, which is a challenge. The game's back in the contest, which we've expected it to be. They've taken 5 marks in their forward 50, just haven't converted. They're dangerous enough when they go forward.
O'Meara crosses into the turf. Rosebery had a good view of that.
And importantly, it's just closed up here. The Lions haven't got that time and space they had early in this game.
Gardner, Berry, by any means. Brayshaw with that motto as well. And Erasmus flung but handballed it a little closer to goal. Nifty for the big guy Fort. Zorko and Marshall and Dunkley clearing ball. Dockers have 3-on-1 in the air. Now the ground ball battle. McCluggage wins that. It gets away from Morris. And Cox sees it to safety. We're almost at the midpoint now of this second term.
But the Fremantle play or a supporter base can relax to some degree, Anthony, because it doesn't give you any indication it's just going to blow out like potentially the numbers did early.
Yeah, the second quarter last week was a shocker. They gave up 8 goals. The hands are magnificent, starting with Bailey, and now it's Rayner's left boot, stylish as ever. Reveal on the bounce. Chapman wore him every inch of the way. Now they go at it again. This is what we like, a bit of one-on-one stuff. A lone battle at half forward. Chapman feeling it. Ryan, Reveal not giving up, not giving an inch. Wilmot, Frederick close to the boundary line. Frederick gave him no way. Suddenly the arms were clear from Wilmot. Around the boundary, Reveal taps it back. asking questions. Levi, they all point, they all want the whistle.
Well, it's Brisbane needs to take a breath now. It's 11 inside 50s to 3. They got their backs against the wall, which we sort of expected was going to happen. These sides have been very good all year. This is the type of game I thought we were going to get at the start.
Morris is back at the goal square with Cameron at his feet on the throw-in. Can Brisbane get it their way? They can. Dunkley and up and under. Cameron might have to fly himself. Oh, he's given away the free. It'll be Warner's ball. Cameron will leave his 250th game next week. It's a long way from the player, the force that he's been. An apology was needed and given from Warner to Bailey. And Freo had very little way of defending all of that.
Every time it's slow in Fremantle's back line, unless Clark's got it, they're in trouble at the moment. That's the third really unforced error that we've seen tonight.
So Hugh McCluggage, he celebrated his 200th game a month ago in the absence of Lockie Neal. He is their leader in the midfield, and he finds the best way forward. Wasn't far away from Morris. Warner under attack again. We've seen that regularly tonight. Dunkley couldn't get ball to boot. Banfield inches away the tackle from being successful. This is Fletcher, has a metre on Reed. He'll need all of that. Into Marshall, turns to the inside. Wilmot prods it to the square. Morris got free. Can't bring the mark down though. Bailey has another shot to goal. To the ball. That is the skill. That is the brilliance of Zach Bailey and the Brisbane Lions.
He's been superb, Zach Bailey, from the minute he opened up this game in the centre square. He should have kicked 3 goals in the first quarter. Goals have all of a sudden been so hard to come by, and it needed some magic. And there's probably no one out on the ground that's got more capability of doing that. That's just instinct.
Oh, it's a little bit of cork in the ocean, Kaz.
Good evening, Dennis. Have a look at that.
That's just goal sense. I mean, he hasn't been great this year. His set shots, has he? Seen him every now and then running in.
He's had some nights, yeah, for sure.
Even the open goals, but that one, that's right up there.
And he's having a night. He's having a night. He's feeling it. And when you're feeling it, you can do anything. And he's come back into the centre bounce. And there he is, Zach Bailey. And no Lockie Neal, we know that. He's filling the shoes admirably.
And the margin back out to 19. Fremantle have to go back to work. They get the call from the umpire. They thought they didn't get a few of them last week.
They're working hard, the Dockers. They've got to get some reward here from a scoreboard point of view. Again, it's not out of control.
Wagner on a straight line towards goal and towards Andrews. He wins the free. It's a very delayed advantage. Levi doesn't like the picture painted ahead of him. So he buys a bit of time via Cameron and Reveal. And there's enough Lions fans to muster a bit of a boost.
He's, it's down there, right down against, it's not at 50, it's going to go down on the goal square to Eric Hipwood against Cox.
Yeah, these two have been at it actually the last few minutes. There's been a lot of bumping and pushing off the ball, and on that occasion, just slipped high. Brandon Cox it was.
Yeah, sorry, Morris the player. Yeah, it is, that is a penalty right there. When the ball goes from your own forward half, almost forward 50 to
a 100-metre penalty.
20 metres out from goal.
Oh, this is just a freebie, really, if you're Brisbane. Take this any day of the week. Try and get 1 or 2 easy goals a game, Gaz, and a game like tonight.
He's taken all before him, Logan Morris. 43 goals as a 20-year-old. 6 and 3 in the last 2 weeks. He's done it all with a smile on his face. And why wouldn't you? He's got a serious look about him tonight, though.
You hear the umpires then, just heads up for the response. Well, there wasn't much of a response. I don't know whether there was much in it. Our eyes certainly weren't on it because it was 140 metres away.
We did hear the crowd pointing at something. I thought it was the Fremantle crowd. So, I mean, Morris, he's been so impressive. 44 goals for the year, over 50 marks inside 50. He's dropped a couple tonight, hasn't he? A couple of one-handers that he could have taken. So it's got real presence in the front half, and to get a goal like that might kickstart his night.
4 centre bounces, they've won 3 out of 1. So and a couple of the Patrick Voss one early in the piece was what they've got to try and manufacture again here. Their forward setup just looks dangerous when it's in the air. It's just having taken an opportunity, and that is a gifted goal to the Lions.
And it's out to 25 points. Ball squirts out Berry's way. Back to Fletcher. He gave it straight back up though. Wagner curls it inside 50 and up jumps Tracy. But this is time now for Fremantle.
I think this is the matchup.
Absolutely time.
This is the matchup, Hutto, that you look at down here, and you got Harris and Voss is trying to do a job on Harris as much as Harris is trying to do on Voss. Amos has been honest, but you look at the matchup here, and physically he's been able to get himself some separation from Darcy Gardner. 6 set shots.
Missed the ball.
6 misses.
Fremantle's last goal this first half was round 8, 2020, so that was even with shortened quarters and halves. Enough, says Josh Tracy. Not having that. Fremantle's first. Better late than never. Back to 19.
Well, they look at their most dangerous from clearances. So there's been 4 or 5 shots tonight. There's been 2 or 3 from centre bounce, and it's the most critical part of Fremantle's game. Sarong's almost had every clearance for Fremantle this quarter, and this come from a little turnover to turnover. It doesn't count as a clearance until it leaves the square. Goes, and they look dangerous up front if you can get in there quick. Fortunately, the only way they get in there quick is from clearances at the moment.
Well, it's back where it needs to be if that's the case. I just hope that they can isolate that matchup as much as they can, Tracy, because there's a couple of times where the big boys just gone back. And that's what they need. You can just feel the buzz around the joint here. It's the first time they've been able to get up out of their seats.
He's just got great craft too. If you can get him one-on-one, him and Voss got tremendous craft.
And Tracy 195 centimetres, Amos 196, Voss 195. That's even without Jackson. So they have the size to aim at. Darcy out of the middle. They're going to go via Frederick.
What a player this kid is. That is a great win when there's a little bit of momentum. There's a one-on-one marking contest. And he stands up and clearly takes it away.
Will Ashcroft with some freedom at right half back. Bailey on the move ahead. And his brother Levi. Too much doubt in either of those for now, so he might have to go long down the line. Which brings the Fremantle size and defenders in, and Pearce just enough to repay the mark. The crowd nodding approval collectively and with voice. Fremantle finally has a goal. A few nerves are settled. He goes short to Ryan.
The turnover game's the bit that is concerning for Fremantle as they get a nice spot kick here. They've kicked 2 points from turnover. Brisbane have kicked 4 goals too.
See, that's where I'd love to just go to have gone hard and asked the question of Darcy Gardner again. Now there's support for him.
Well, we got a flyer. Amos tried. Andrews disrupting as he does. Quick kick away Levi Ashcroft. But on return, it's Alex Pearce.
Fort's got himself deep in the hole. Here's the matchup.
Pounding out on the lead. Superb connection. The 2 big guys, Pearce to Tracy.
This is the matchup, and the last ball that went in there was slow. When O'Driscoll took a mark, he had space in front of him, he could have gone. And asked a question again, he didn't. It's a great wraparound lead. Yeah. They should have got support in the leading lane there from Dane Zorko and others, but this is the man right here.
And you can see and feel what the moment means to him. He already was able to break the drought with the first. Now to try and create some serious momentum. Josh Tracy, that will do it. The passion is on display. The purpose is clear. And now it's Chris Fagan and the Lions' turn to respond. It's back to 13 points. Finally some reward for the Dockers tour.
That was a bit of an isolated breakdown of defence for Brisbane. There's a big hole for Tracy to lead into. You got to get the craft right in the block. But too much room for him to lead in. You see him, he wrap around. Sometimes you use the ruck as a decoy. Him it's the ruck from the opposition. Zorko just switching off there for a split second, and it's cost them a goal. The big issue, though, is these centre clearances, guys. I'm not sure if they've won one this quarter.
5-zip, I think. So go again. Like, I don't know where the coaches, you tell me, do you look at this and go, there's the hot hand down there, let's try and give him some room and give him some space and go to him again.
That's what you do. Just got to get it in there, get some isolation, and keep winning these centre clearances. And if you're Brisbane, you start thinking about different matchups.
Both Ashcroft's in there at the feet of Ford, but it's Darcy that wins the tap. McCluggage to Will. High ball for Morris. Cox takes front position. Morris can't reach over the top. Now again, it's Warner breaking through to Sarong, and they've chained them up. Brayshaw suddenly there at centre half forward. Tracy up again. Amos stays down. Jackson knew where Bolton was. Bolton knew where the ball was. Swikowski had a look. Amos in his sights. So close.
Game on now, boys.
Feels like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It hasn't been going off, probably. Those numbers there is what would be pleasing Justin Longmuir and giving Chris Fagan some concerns. 17-8 inside 50s. Pressure's come up. The uncontested mark game's nowhere near where it was.
Kicked the last two. Wilmot taken care of. McCluggage off to Levi Ashcroft. Sky ball back to the wing. Pearce again starting to have more and more influence. Not that time though. Morris to Reville. Down the line to Rayner. Cameron is pacing back towards the goals. A kick and a half away.
Got a spare behind the play. They can't go quick. But Ryan's just dropped in the hole.
Yep. So it's short to Fletcher. What a night he's having. Possession 20 coming up for the youngster. Back to Starcevic. Good running from Zorko. Slow build.
Well, that's the one they didn't want to give up, Freo.
So corridor and over the centre line.
Opens the ground up for them.
It does for Andrews, and they can creep forward without any real danger. When is the moment to launch with intent? Berry has that choice in his hands and head. Goes wide to the pocket. Cox marches out. Fist first. Comes down to Fort. And the handball straight to Sarong. Couldn't do much with it. Just bundled it up. It was a bundle of hope to the wing. Bolton has a way of seducing the footy. Amos with nothing ahead. Jackson gives him the run and the want for the footy. It's Starcevic's task to slow him down. Around onto the left to Brayshaw. Archie has given away the free.
Just the work rate of everyone, to be honest. They worked so hard there. The Fremantle club set it up beautifully, and then the coverage came from the Brisbane Lions because they're so hard-working and disciplined. And Archie got himself back to the position, done everything right, and then just jumped into the back of Brayshaw.
Shows you the advantage of Jackson. 200-plus centimetre sliding winger.
Even Justin Longmuir up out of his chair.
Oh, yeah.
Andrew Brayshaw, experienced player now, over 160 games. Such a dependable ball winner. Can he use it? Oh, yes, he can. 3 in a row for Fremantle, the rise of the purple. We're starting to see it spread all around this magnificent stadium. And the margin is back to 7.
Well, this is the benefit of getting some scoreboard return, because you then get this massive sellout crowd involved. So Archie did everything right until the end where he was messy. Look at the response here from Brayshaw. This is what they've been craving for a quarter and a half. No goals. You want this purple army to get up. And they're up out of their seats, and it's back to a 7-point ball game. And really, it could have, as much as Brisbane didn't take as many chances in the first quarter, this could have been, they could have their nose in front here, the Dockers.
Yeah, well, both ends haven't been that efficient. I mean, Fremantle going at 44% efficiency. Brisbane are going at 33% efficiency on their entry. So both back lines are holding up pretty well. And it just feels like it's advantage Fremantle with these clearances and inside 50s this quarter.
Listen to this, Hunter.
Got all the elements and feels of a final. Back to Sarong again. He just bangs it up the half forward. Tracy, well done by Leicester in the air, and then on the follow.
I think that move's been made too. I think Leicester might have gone to Tracy. Gardner's back with Jackson.
Darcy kept eyes for the ball, used his heft. Sarong, and there is Tracy. Takes the mark. Jackson calling for it in the square. The kick heads his way. Just 3 lines. Gardner, they're able to tame him that time. Across to Berry. Enough protection from Starcevic. Driving ball for Day. Pearce has been a force in the air. Tried to tap it to Warner. And he had the help too, and it's good help. Clark, who was on fire at the start of the quarter, just floats it rather aimlessly. And there's Berry getting back. He's the 5th tallest Brisbane player. Is Jarrett Berry, so he does get back and provide a bit of that aerial support.
Like it though, doesn't it?
No.
The height advantage at the moment is definitely in favour aerially for Fremantle. There's a minute and a half to go. You would have thought He'll try and do a bit of control. Looks like they're going quick.
Yeah, it was a probing kick, wasn't it, from Zorko? He's as good as anyone at that. Leicester finds himself already with a goal to his name. And up across half forward. Dunkley's service is good to Hipwood.
He worked hard, Eric, for that.
Thoughts in the square, but the overlap run comes from McCluggage. Chapman wasn't far away from gifting him a goal.
Well, he needed to, Eric Hipwood. So, I mean, it's been a bit hard to come by in this quarter. But in terms of finding much of the footy, he's only had the 3 touches. That's the work rate he's got to bring more often. I don't think you want the footy in. I know he's had these moments early in his career, Huey McCluggage. I shouldn't say it, but
You're backing him in?
he didn't look like this in the warm-up.
Heavily strapped knee tonight. We noticed that as well in the warm-up. As I said, he's had his moments as a set shotter, but he has kicked a big goal late in the game to win them one from a similar position. This time it's on the road, and this time it just misses.
Oh, it's poised. It's poised here. Brisbane Lions were magnificent in the first quarter. The Dockers have got it back into a contest in this second.
This was the man that led the way at the start of the quarter, wasn't it, Jordan Clark?
Well, it's him and Fletcher and him and Zorko at opposite ends of the ground that have had real periods of dominance.
Only 10 seconds left in it. It'll have to be one quick play from the Lions. Berry crowded out. Rayner. All the way for the right. Feels like half-time's come quick in this game.
Yes.
Only 8 goals scored. Darcy the reach. It's away from Ashcroft. Sarong. Able to clear the danger. And so we have reached half-time here. This is a full dress rehearsal for finals, but we just don't know who's going to be there when it really counts in September. The winner tonight will be. That is what we know. And it's the Brisbane Lions who lead by 8, but Fremantle with the last 3 goals and the momentum on a magnificent night in Perth.
All right, there we go, half-time. I tell you what, the Dockers did well in that second term, and a few Freo supporters at G a little bit more happier. So Lions though at half-time, 5-4-34 leading the Dockers, 3-8-26. That's the Lions by 8 points. Tell you what, the Dockers were good there, and they pressed that entire quarter. Of course, Brisbane putting on 2 goals, 2 in that second term, 3 goals, 3 to the Dockers. They did look the better team, and they were pressing. Tell you what, it was great to see the Dockers hit 3 goals in a row there. Certainly, as I said, certainly brought this packed-out crowd here this evening into contention, getting the players up and running. And tell you what, folks, we are in for a ring-a-ding-ding-ding final second half here at the Optus Stadium here in Perth. It should be a fantastic game. I tell you what, it's hard to call this game. Who's going to win this game? If I had my money on someone, I think I'd have it on the Dockers at EG. I think they've been pressing, even in that first quarter, 5 behind. Same scoring shots, just a little bit wayward. Got their kicking boot on a little bit better in that second term with the 3 goals, 3. So let's go Dockers for all you Dockers supporters out there. Whatever it's going to be, I tell you what, I think it's going to come. I tell you what, this is going to be a close game down to the wire. We are in for a cracking final half, as we were saying. It's all set up. Of course, only 8 points of difference at half time. The commentators will be back in a moment. I won't stick the live ladder up there just for Addy G. We'll wait until the Dockers hit the front. But there we go. Let's have a look at the goal scorers so far. Of course, Freo on the board. Josh Tracy doing his job there. 2 goals to Josh Tracy. Fantastic. Finally kicking straight. Andy Brayshaw getting one as well. For Brisbane, Zach Bailey with the 2. Logan Morris, Lester and Cameron with 1. Zach Bailey kicking a sensational goal. Kicked it right over his own head and through the goals. He did well. I'll tell you what. Disposal getters, Jasper Fletcher. Look at that. Look at that. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 10 of the top 12, all from Brisbane in the ball magnets out there up until half-time. Jasper Fletcher leading the way on 21. 13 kicks, 8 handballs, 10 marks, 1 tackle. Caleb Sarong, he stepped up in that second term. 16 disposals, 9 kicks, 7 handballs, a couple of tackles, 5 clearances. Well done. That's what they need. They need him up and firing. need him up and firing. I tell you what, I'll be super happy when 5 gets in there. I think he'll, as I said, I tell you what, I think this is a game that he will just relish being amongst. Hugh McGluggage, 16. Zorko, a little bit quieter in that second term. I think just the 4 touches there. 15. Berry, 15. Bailey, 15. Also, Jordan Clark there, 13 touches there for Freo. Who else? Let's roll down the board and see who else we've got there. Levi is on 11. Josh Tracy, as I said, up to 8 disposals, 7 kicks. Well done, 5 marks. So he's grabbing the ball nicely in his midst there for 2 goals, 2. Alex Pearce there, 7. 5 and 2. All right, hang on. We'll come back to this in a moment, folks. Let's just head back down to the commentators for a little bit of a wrap up on the opening half.
Recap tonight's Cole's goal. Couldn't go past Zach Bailey. Been the dominant player on the ground the first half. So able to kick one over his head and put himself in contention for the goal of the year. Got an interesting game of footy right here. Stakes are high, 8 points the margin in favour of the Brisbane Lions, and it's been a tale of 2 quarters, to be perfectly honest. The ebb and flow, I mean, they jumped them. Brisbane Lions, Chris Fagan, the coaching staff put in place a game plan. They executed it beautifully. Freo looked to be on the back foot early.
It was the uncontested game too, wasn't it, with Brisbane? They did it from the back half and they did it from the front half as well, so completely dominated the first 10 minutes.
So then you go to the coach's box. Is there anything that jumps off the page here for you?
Look, looking at this, looks all over the shop a little bit, but the clearances are even. But in the middle, it's plus. I think it's +9 to Fremantle. They've only had 2 centre bounce clearances, Brisbane, so it's a definite success indicator for Fremantle. It's working well for them. The other one is these inside 50s. I mean, it's just turned around from the quarter to quarter. So both teams have had a good look.
And we talked a lot about this uncontested mark, and it was off the charts in the first quarter particularly. It was still a big number in the second. And I want to talk to you about the difference between the 2 quarters, because while the numbers look crazy, particularly in the first quarter, so 47 is just crazy, and the game looked like it. So it looked like that was the key factor. Second quarter is still a big number, 31-12, but it didn't look as though it was doing as much damage.
Look, that's a win. It's 16 less, I suppose, and they didn't get any field position, really, did they? Went sideways, and long to a contest, and they did that while still protecting the corridor, because the danger with taking away uncontested marks is you open up the corridor. So good coaching at quarter time and good leadership from Fremantle leaders.
Yeah, the response was superb. What about this clearance game? We talked about it here. Sarong's had 5, been important and pivotal through the middle, and this centre bounce stuff particularly.
Well, you got to look, it's a second ruck too, and that's where you get the advantage. You've got Jackson who can still hold down the first ruck position, and Sarong is just finding a way to impose himself in this game. He's had 5 or 6 clearances, he's had 10 contested possessions, and these clearances are so critical for front half dominance. Once you get it in the front half, you then can defend behind it, and this is what you want. You want to come through the corridor from your clearances, get your overlap, and really put the defenders on the back foot.
Yeah, so Brisbane superb in the first quarter. Fremantle got it back on their terms in the second quarter with that clearance dominance through the middle. And Matthew Pavic down at ground level. You win the ball out of the centre. They've got some targets to shoot at. And the big boy, Josh Tracy, just started to flex there late in that second quarter.
Yeah, he certainly did, Gaz. It was important to get him involved in the game because, as you just alluded to, early in that first quarter, Brisbane were able to control the ball and the Fremantle forwards were just chasing. But eventually Tracy got into it. He's actually had the 4th most disposals for a Fremantle player. That's how important he has been. Kicked 2 goals, 2 for the match, had 5 marks from his 8 disposals as well, and been involved in 5 score involvements. And he looks the most likely down there in that forward line. Pat Voss is trying to get to Harris Andrews and limit his impact. And this is the important one where there's a nice leading lane that's opened up, and he just explodes out of there, uses a nice little loop lead, gets to a spot. Brisbane defenders a bit sloppy ahead of the ball, and importantly he finishes because they were just lacking that finishing ability. 8 points at one stage it was in that second term, until finally the big kahuna hit the scoreboard. So if they get it in there enough, Fremantle, they've got the firepower to kick a winning score.
Evenly poised here, 8 points the margin at half-time. Can't wait for the second half. As we said, the winner guarantees himself a spot in September. The loser might be out, and they've got this man up their sleeve. Nathan Fyfe, the 2-time Brownlow medalist, is the sub. He'll be injected into the game. He'll be celebrated by Kath and Pat after the break.
All right, they'll be back after the break. Let's go back and have a look at some of the stats. We love it. Charlie Cameron, 7 touches so far. I tell you what, that's fantastic. Freo can keep him quiet. I know he's had 7 touches, 5 and 2. He's kicked that goal in the opening term. But yeah, he's a player you want to keep quiet. Alex Pearce on 7 and doing a couple of nice intercepting marks down back with 5 of them, 5 kicks also for him. Let's roll on down a little bit, folks. Starcevic up to 6. There we go. Jager O'Meara, I tell you what, he needs to pull his finger out a little bit and get on his bike and start pedaling. He's only had the 5 up until half time. Luke Jackson, he's only had the 5 touches, 3 kicks, 2 handballs, 7 hit-outs, 1 behind. He did have a nice goal assist there. And tell you what, he actually doesn't look too bad down forward. For a tall man, he's agile. Gotta love him. Gotta love him. He's got to be, I tell you what, he's got to be the, Luke Jackson, he's got to be one of the favourite sons of Freo. I'm sure of that. I'm sure of that. Shai Bolton, also another one that needs to start and get on his bike. Even maybe stick him down in the centre as well. Just swap it a little bit around, get a little bit of pace in the centre for them with Caleb. Try and give him a bit of it. I tell you what, folks, someone who needs to start doing a little bit of chest pumping, that's the prancing pony. The prancing pony, Patrick Voss, he's only had 4 touches up until half time, 3 kicks, 1 behind. Come on, Patrick. Get your aggro on like we've seen you do in the past, like last week. Kick a goal, get into the opposition, pump that chest out and start prancing like a pony. There we go. Cam Rayner, he's been quiet also for Brisbane, just the 4 touches, 3 kicks. Logan Morris, the same with a goal. Frederick, he would have liked the way that Frederick has his little bit of run. He's got some speed, he's got some skill, just the 4 touches. I'd like to see him get the ball in his hands a little bit more. Eric Hipwood, the forward down there for the Lions, no score. 3 touches only. 3 kicks, no score. Fantastic, well done. Jai miss, just the 2 touches there for Freo. Let's have a look at some of the team's stats, folks, up until half time. And of course, the Lions, I tell you what, the Dockers, I like the Dockers. What I've seen so far, they're playing a little bit of fast football, which is fantastic. The Lions, I tell you what, they're playing a little bit of a slow game at times, just chipping the ball, chipping and marking as they do. I like the fast play that the Dockers doing. That's exciting. Inside 50, well, there we go. I think it was 7-15 at quarter times now. 27, 25. 20 inside 50s in that second term to the Dockers. Well done. Just a 10 to the Brisbane Lions. 11 scoring shots to 9. Disposal efficiency, I'd like that to lift up a little bit for Freo. 65%, that needs to lift a bit. Brisbane still going nice and strong at 76, both at 40%. Inside 50 efficiency, a little bit low for both teams. Free kicks 10-8. Home team, a couple plus there. But look, I think all free kicks have been reasonably there. I think it's been another well-umpired game. They must be getting some good lessons, the umpires, on how to umpire a little bit more stable. 20-9 in the hit-outs. Dockers on top. I tell you what, look at this centre clearance, folks. Look at this centre clearances. You can see the Dockers have lifted out of the centre. 7-2 in the centre clearances. It is fantastic. Brisbane, however, stoppage clearances around the ground. 13-8 plus 5. 15 clearances all, but I do like the centre clearances. 7-2. They'll be very happy, and especially with the contested possession. Dockers still in front on the contested possession. +1. Keep it up, Dockers. That's what you want. You want nice contested ball. You want to win that. Uncontested, as we said. Lions are chipping it around, as they do. They'll be well and truly on top of the marks. Don't take anything into that. Turnovers. Dockers 30, 35 Brisbane. Dockers doing a good job. Under season average. Just like the marks and the chipping around, uncontested, the Lions, of course, they're going to be 51 plus in the marks. Marks inside 50. Josh Tracy, his mitts are grabbing the ball well. He's hanging on to the ball. That's 7-3 to half time, so that is fantastic as well. Contested marks 3-2 to the Dockers. Stronger in the air. As we always saying, folks, I always love to have a look at the tackles to see what pressure. I tell you what, there was pressure on there, but not a great deal of tackle count there. And holding the tackle, 16 to the Dockers. Come on, Dockers, you need to hit that up around the 60. I think if the Dockers are going to end up winning this game, they need to put maximum pressure on the Lions. Even the Lions are pretty ordinary on 23. That's super duper low for any team to be at that number. Tackles inside 50, Lions always pretty good in that department. Tackles inside 57 for them, just the 3 for the Dockers. So we need to lift that up as well. But overall tackle count pressure, Dockers need to continue to raise their act on that line there. All right, let's just head back down to the ground while the commentators are there.
What sort of impact has it had on the players in particular?
It's been it's been a bit of a mixed week because given his impact on the club and the videos of him playing, but it's still you see him in there and he's preparing to play, and even tonight he's out there ready to play. So it's he's had a huge impact on me and obviously our footy club for a long time. And I think once the season finishes, we'll probably really dive into the detail of his career.
The memory goes back to when he was at his peak, and I guess our club at the time was at our peak in terms of challenging at the pointy end of finals. 2015 in particular was a year where he just shone on the field, and that Fife and Dangerfield battle, the head-to-head, comes to mind at some of the great moments of his career.
Yeah, he did. I think I was sitting up in the stands eating a cheeseburger as an emergency that day, so I got a nice little front row.
Really
I did enjoy it. Great battle. But one thing about Fifey, usually playing with sticks out on the open wing, just watching him impose himself on the game, it's really hard to sometimes get a gauge of who was playing well. But he was one player you just noticed when he was, particularly late in games when the game was up for grabs, he'd really turn it on its head.
One of the all-time matchups, and no surprise that they cleaned up in the Brownlow votes. Just finally one on the game. You're in the inner circle as the Fremantle boys run out beside us. How do you view where the game's at?
We missed some opportunities obviously early to put a bit of pressure back on them, and I think they had a clear intent to shift the ball and take a lot of marks and build the ball up, and it probably took us a little bit long to get on top of that. But I think once we started sending them to a contest, and that quarter looked more like us and started to get outside and use our run and speed. So hopefully, touch wood, we can continue that in the second half.
Good luck to you and Freo for the second half. We've got the third quarter coming up next here at a sold-out Optus Stadium. It is the Brisbane Lions leading the Fremantle Dockers. Anthony Hudson to call all the action next.
All right, there we go, folks. We will return in just a couple of minutes' time. Hey, thanks, Addy G, for coming in. The biggest Freo supporter in the country. It's in the house. Stephen, what's going on, Squire? Young Ryan, what's happening, sir? What's happening? Of course, J-Mar, good to see you. J-Mar, the Pickleball King. I tell you what, the Pickleball King and the Burger King in the house sounds like a meal in itself. Addy G, a little bit happier. That is better. Certainly was a better effort from Freo. He's excited for a comeback in the second half. I'm expecting the comeback. If the Dockers continue the way they left that third term, they'll be in fine fettle. And Brisbane, I tell you what, they still look reasonably dangerous once they're getting it inside their forward 50. They're just pressing. And they just seem to find it a little bit easier, I think. But yeah, Freo Dockers, they were certainly coming hard in that second term. I think they'll carry that through. I think they've got a little bit of confidence going into the third term from the second. I think that's going to carry on beautifully. All right, folks, we'll be back in just a couple of minutes for the bounce of the ball for the third quarter.
It is, it's half-time, but it won't be for long. We're about to get into the third term. Friday night footy with real meaning tonight for Brisbane and Fremantle. The winner will play finals and could do better than that. It's an 8-point lead. The last 3 goals to Freo. Quick thoughts, Adam Simpson?
Yeah, look, I think Sarong's still a big danger. He's had 16 possessions, 10 contested, 5 clearances, 300 metres gained, and not enough time put into him at the moment.
That man there, Cam Rayner, has had quiet halves this year and then exploded in the second. He's barely been involved. He's broke a couple of tackles, had 4 touches. They'd love to see him get involved.
We won't have to wait long. Third quarter is with us from a packed Optus Stadium on a Friday night. 2 Darcys. Darcy fought up against Sean Darcy, and it's Bailey and the quick-moving McCluggage. And speaking of swift with the footy, Wilmot jams it wide. Reveal tracked it all the way. In intersection, he and Charlie wasn't quite sure who to give way there.
Andrew Brayshaw, the other one, just 6 possessions. He's a ball magnet. That's an unbelievably known
His numbers have been a bit down in recent weeks. He still got rated high for his performance last week for how he used it. But 6 is extremely low by his high standards. Has kicked a goal, and so has this man. He's kicked 2. Bailey all over it. Quick hands out of there from Dunkley to Fort. They'll get to the square. They'll get to hit ball, and it's a wrestle with Pearce. And the referee says it's a free to Pearce.
Already we can see Dunkley is going to Sarong now, so maybe that move's been made at half-time.
Well, he gets 28 possessions plus. They haven't lost this year.
Oh, it's a good
Caleb
start.
Sarong. So they've given him a head start. He's got 16.
What was that before the show?
8th disposal from Pearce. We'll learn soon. Gonna hold a few cards now.
Still learning.
The young rookie. It's a Brisbane line free kick here. Hugh McCluggage has got 4 of the ball.
Wait till the crowd sees this.
Darcy Fort's 4 of the ball too.
Have to be a little bit out of kilter, surely. There is Darcy Fort.
No, Sean Darcy sitting there going, hey, everyone's offside and gone the other way. And he was the slower one to react. I don't particularly blame him because everyone on the field thought it was a Fremantle free kick. Darcy Fort reacted quicker, got deep.
Just 3 goals for the year, Darcy Fort. But this is a night where Ryan Lester's kicked a goal. So anything is possible. It's not a big amount of data. Doesn't really support the cause, but Fremantle kicked the last 3 goals of the first half, and that is an answer when your ruckman gets forward. It's not a popular answer around this stadium, given how it happened, but some of them like it.
Well, they're finding goals different ways, aren't they? I mean, the last goal they kicked was a down-the-field free kick, and this was another, controversial free kick. You see that 100 times a game, so as much as they'll take those goals, they're not scoring in their traditional way. And we're used to Brisbane finding multiple avenues. The ruckman and the defender being part of the action the last 3 or 4 plays, as we see.
That's great work from him, isn't it?
Pretty good craft.
It is. But Alex Pearce hasn't got an opponent yet, and he was slow to come across. Darcy got caught offside because of the confusion.
I just felt they were just all a little bit out, weren't they?
They were, yep.
It's costly.
Great start for the Brisbane Lions.
They couldn't hold forward on that occasion, and they lead by 14 points. Flipped up in the middle. He goes against Darcy again. Here comes Bailey trying to get through the middle. The toe poke will work. Warner to the voice of Sarong, but didn't count for Rayner and his smarts. McCluggage in quickly. Defenders have to do just that, and Cox is up to it this time.
They won the first 2 centre bounces, Brisbane Lions, after getting dominated in that second quarter.
Quick little give up. Ryan bangs it up to the wing. Andrews is there with 4. They get pushed, they get shoved. Voss was doing all of that and more. Ground level Frederick converged upon.
What they would have done at half-time, Gaz, is they would have got 3 or 4 clips. The coach has gone through where and why and what personnel needs to change, and you come out with a different strategy in the second half.
Great to have the insights of Adam Simpson fresh out of the game. New to another one. Bailey dribbles it up to the 50. Morris somehow releases to Archie. Crafty always. Rayner, strong, brilliant, absolutely. And we're not surprised because we've seen it before from Cam Rayner. That is the capabilities that Brisbane have, those medium mid-forwards. Bailey did it earlier, and Cam Rayner is released as requested.
Have a look at the build-up to this, though. I mean, Rayner responds, so he's involved at the clearance. Watch Archie in amongst this here. It's just an understanding. He's gone. So he backs Morris, who attracts two defenders, including his, and he gets forward of the ball and gets involved in the chain, and Rayner finishes it.
Well, he started as a forward, come up to the stoppage. He's got the licence to rip through as well, Rayner, and quite often you can catch a defender who's chasing the ball. You get goal side, and you're right, really good smarts, but just got in front of his defender in that transition.
And Andrew Brayshaw, who's a competitive animal, would be shattered that he had Rayner, but that's Rayner's strength. He's almost impossible when he puts his mind to it. So big second half maybe for Rayner.
Out to 20. I wonder when we're going to see Nat 5. Jackson fires, charges after it. Bailey, there's Sarong, and reduce that time to Chapman, and enough protection to come away for Brayshaw, so he does get involved. Sets for Erasmus, and then down the line to Reid. A step ahead of Fletcher. Tracy is just slowly working his way back to be a target if needed. Footy with Chapman. Waits to see what is available inside. Now the lead comes primarily from Amos. Up to the kicker. He goes longer to Darcy. When will Tracy lead? He can't. He didn't need to. That's enough. Darcy hangs on with both hands.
Well, there's nothing a ruckman hates, I don't think. There's a ruckman hates anything more than having his opponent kick a goal on him. So I love this from Sean Darcy. If you're a competitive animal, which you need to be in this caper, you take it personally. So Darcy Ford gets forward and kicks a goal on him. Not entirely his fault, confusion in the setup. Are you competitive? Go down the other way. Go down and hurt him the other way.
For his 50th goal of his career, if all the toils are going to work, they need to take their chances. Not to be for Sean Darcy. He's been accurate this year with 5 goals, 1, but when it counts, he misses, and the Dockers are back where they were in the first quarter, missing set shots. They had straightened things up and corrected. Kicked 3 straight in a row. So Wilmot goes off on his excellent adventure. A bounce and then to the wing. The Dockers are ball side on the way, and Jackson has collected a free. All advantage paid. It might have to be retracted. No. Wagner bangs it forward. And drifting from the side, Wilmot straight into attack mode. Hands quickly off.
Super player, Darcy Wilmot.
Yep.
Just read it aggressively and went after it. He plays uncomplicated footy, Wilmot.
Day. Getting a late chance to become a finals and a premiership player, the ex-Gold Coast Sun, the original Gold Coast Sun. What an opportunity it is for Sam Day. So late in the season, Fletcher,
Picked off.
he thought the corridor was available, and he still did, but allows Amos to come in. Free kick was drawn by Amos.
It's just not as easy as it was in that first quarter, is it? They're looking for the corridor. Even Day's got the licence to go for it.
Voss on the move for Banfield if he so chooses. And he does on the bounce. Awkward, but good enough. Back to Wagner, and then Banfield again off the left. Now he's got he had Bolton in his sights.
Defence. The Lions' defence just worked so hard, didn't allow. They're screaming out for someone to hit up and just to take the pressure off the bloke with a footy, but not one Brisbane line defender laid off his man there.
This is the game of chess, though, guys. Like, look for the corridor, look for the 45. Don't concede down the line, and can Fremantle defend it? It's been happening all night.
Takes 25 to Starcevic.
They've taken 85 marks for the game. 82 of them have been uncontested. So,
and this could be another perfect dimensions on the kick to Archie.
Still looking for that corridor kick.
Comes to Levi. He's on the edge of the corridor. One more and they're in, and are they away? Wilmot thought about it. Thought better of it. Can play it out on the near side to Fletcher. He could have gone longer than he ultimately did. He went to Marshall. He ignores Bailey. He had grander plans, but Pearce sees to that. Coaches are back for
It wasn't a great kick, but it wears you down. If you're Fremantle defence and you're defending, as we see a turnover already.
Yeah, a little wobbly off the boot. Gave Gardner a chance. Can Pearce rectify matters? Used all his strength and determination to do so through Wagner and up onto the wing. Reid being creative with the forward handball now from Erasmus. Has Bolton charging. Amos has got out the back. Bolton hesitated. Decides to go to Jackson. Comes sweeping through. O'Meara with all his experience, but not enough, and that's a goal that was there for the taking.
Looks so good when they go quick, don't they?
But that's where they've got to arrive at some stage. Otherwise, this thing will slip through their hands, and they made a meal of that. That was a goal that could have been kicked 5 different ways.
Day, Pearce versus Morris. Darcy joined in. Played his part, wore it, but look at Morris mark away. Marches through half forward. The second bounce. A bit of casual Friday from Morris to full forward. It needed a lot to go right.
Yeah, other options on. Didn't quite not know what to do with it. Quite often you have 2 bounces of key forward. Gary running down the wing, so there's a few options there, just didn't take.
It's opening up, isn't it? So the game's opening up, and now it's whether you can take your opportunities.
Who do you think it suits more when it opens up?
Well, it depends how quick you want to go. If Fremantle go, they're going to get some really good looks from this point on.
Fremantle did this against Collingwood in that last quarter 3 weeks ago. They took them on, took on the corridor themselves. Doesn't quite feel like they're ready to push that button just yet.
No, I think they got spooked early, and they couldn't go hard and go fast.
Free to Jackson.
But they've got a winner in their forward half in Josh Tracy if they do, and they've got to realise it.
He's backing back on Gardner right now, but it's not going to arrive. Again, it's chopped off by the lines. Careful kick, Berry, marked by Bailey. Takes it wide today, off to Ashcroft, and then wider to Andrews, and further down the line. Time for the kick from McCluggage. Archie, the West Australian, takes the mark. Camped against the line. Morris is deep. So is Cameron.
Rayner's got himself down. Loves jumping in these situations.
At the back, bit of nudge work going on, and it's pulled down somehow. Morris has done it again.
It's the juggler.
He nearly juggled one, wasn't he? He is talking to the Brisbane coaching staff, and I said, what is it about this guy? He's got a 50 here.
Wow, that is poor. That's the second easy goal conceded.
Five time, not too far away, and they might need something special, Fremantle. This is about to be the third goal on end for the travelling Lions party. And it's Logan Morris again for his second.
He's just going to let the clock settle a little bit, take his time.
He's been on the receiving end of 2 50-metre penalty goals here.
And he is going to bang it through. He's had a couple of gifts tonight, which he's happy to take. And the margin is now at a game high, 25 points. And we are midway through the third quarter, so Fremantle's renowned ability to come from behind, they might need that again.
So we see the mark. I think it was a protected area 50, where sometimes the crowd's so loud you can't hear what's happening. The umpire's screaming. You clearly can't hear what's happening. Is that Banfield? Yeah. He can't hear. And then, unfortunately, Fremantle played across the goal. So
interesting. He was right player there.
Yeah, Fremantle look at it again. There's half-time Nathan Fyfe. You expect him to be...
I think this is live, Gary, from down the
live.
Yeah, we just saw him go up the race.
Oh, right. Well, this is the time. 25 points is a big margin when you kick 3 goals.
If you think about it, you know, I quite often think, is this who's winning this game in terms of what's it feel like? It feels like a Brisbane game at the moment.
Thump, the ball goes down in the middle again. They've quietened the crowd at the start of the third as they did at the start of the game. Levi Ashcroft, Cameron, right within Banfield. Was that high? Cameron didn't wait, tries to get the handball away. Redoubles his efforts now. Again, looks for a free. Umpire not buying that. Warner threading it to Sarong. Handballs were good, they were quick, and it was through O'Meara to the wings with Kaskin now to Brayshaw. Options through the middle, a plethora of them. Right, Jackson disrupted, was Dunkley again. Again, that's to no surprise. Hot hands came from Fletcher, too hot for Starcevic. Now in goes Jackson again. Fredericks been craving a moment in his 100th. To the top of the square, Tracy or Voss. Voss can't take the mark. Berry saw to that, and he got the handball to Leicester. Always someone in support. The teammanship, it's a rush ball. Jackson can't mark. Frederick again. Is this the time for Frederick?
You have to beat this Brisbane side. The admiration for the Brisbane Lions here, they've been out so many times, and then this happens. Dunkley refuses to concede. They will not give you this victory. You've got to take it, Fremantle.
What a kick that was from Zorko. unbelievable to Leicester. And look what it's setting up. Bailey, Charlie's out the back, and Cameron will take the mark. And it should all go back to that first kick.
You do the reward, you do the hard work, you'll get the reward. So the hard work is the pressure inside their forward 50, starting with a Dunkley chase down. Then the kick is magnificent, and Charlie Cameron's out the back. This is an outstanding football side we're watching here. Up against it, away from home, fighting for their life, and they're about to go 5 goals plus up in the third quarter.
Probably the most important kick of the night, Gary. Really stretches this lead out to become a real issue. Fremantle have come back from narrow margins the last 5 or 6 weeks, but nothing this big.
Once upon a time, this would have been a pretty simple kick for Charlie Cameron. Goals haven't been easy to find, though. He kicked one early tonight after being goalless for the last 3 weeks. And can get you even in your 249th game.
Wow, that's a miss. They mightn't have any choice in the end. This could work into the Fremantle's hands because the fast play and more aggressive ball movements when they look best.
There's a little signal there from Ryan. It was for a set play. It was the aggressive kick. Was it too cavalier? No. Sarong got it through to Clark, to Frederick. It's even numbers ahead. They're an even chance. The numbers with 3-0 through the middle. Jackson to Brayshaw. Back to Jackson. Again hunted down. Again it's Dunkley.
Wow.
What a team player. Marshall's kick is quick today. Frederick doesn't let him get away. Kept him to account. Rayner and Warner. Free kick.
The pressure was great, but they've been untidy, Fremantle. That many times on a fast break, they haven't been able to finish a play.
Yeah, it's a great point. The pressure shouldn't have been able to be applied. No. Rayner from the stand start. What a kick that is today.
Just getting them out the back a little bit with Brisbane's speed.
Ford has pushed forward, and so has Reveal. Went to their regular forwards instead. Pierce just crashing the pack with absolute desperation.
Do you think about Fife?
Well, clearly.
No
He's
question.
got his tracksuit pants off. That's the first thing.
Keep running out the door.
But, you know, he injured himself doing this a few weeks ago as a sub, so extra cautious in how he warms up going down the rooms.
On the throw, they have to defend with their life. Bailey. Anyone was likely to, it was Zach Bailey.
He's played a game, Bailey. Yeah. He has played a hell of a game. He's up to 24 touches, but it's his work forward to centre as well, so we know his clearance work's been really good. He's dangerous.
To go again, and it's Rayner. Will Ashcroft just creeps away and through from behind.
See the Fremantle holding their anchor sign up on the boundary line. That normally means slow it down, Gary. That's obviously what you're talking about, but they have lost control of the game, so maybe owning the ball a little bit might be the best thing, but you've got to make a move.
Yeah, can't for too long, can they? Another pack crash, fought effective. Down to Fletcher, back to Zorko. Always will look for the greatest kick with the most impact. Starcevic has the honour of trying to kick into the 50. Well defended that time by Brayshaw. Can they turn defence into attack? O'Meara restrained by Marshall. Even the youngsters know what to do and they enjoy doing it. And the leader of the young pack is this man, Will Ashcroft.
A couple of moves from Fagan at half-time with Sarong getting well held. Now he's only had 3 possessions this quarter.
Dominating around clearance, and they do again to Levi's kick. Dale make a contest against Pierce. Hipwood in the air. Cameron coming through. He's still got the ability to win the football, but releasing it is more difficult, and that's holding the ball.
And by called advantage then briefly. On the right call.
7-1 clearance this quarter in favour of Brisbane. It's turning around what was one of their vulnerabilities and turning it into a real positive. They shouldn't be spooked by going quick for Fremantle. Go and burn the anchor. You burn that right now because they got through.
Actually, you can lift the anchor, Gary.
Drop it at the bottom of the ocean because they got through Brisbane 3 times and it was just untidy at the bottom end.
Out comes Tracy. He didn't fly. He left it to Frederick. And it pans out okay. Now Tracy gets to take the kick. No, he doesn't. Had the handball, coughs it up. Reveal. He's a long kick of the football. Not this time. Well done, O'Meara. Kept his head in the game.
Burn the anchor sign. It's getting a bit desperate here. It is. They kicked 3 goals for the game and they came in a little burst and that's it. And as we said, Brisbane, they don't hand you anything here.
Well, it's up to Fremantle around these stoppages. for their leaders to lead. Instead, it's Ashcroft. Again, they smother, but it's all defensive at the moment. And Brisbane keep coming through Starcevic. Levi Ashcroft's kick. Bit of a sky ball. Banfield didn't take a backward step. Eyes on the footy all the way. Whatever might come his way. And he's rewarded with the mark.
This is when we've got 6 minutes 40 to go. There's still another move to be made from both coaches. It does look like they're controlling the ball a little bit, Gary. It's part of their strength too, as much as it gets frustrating. Their clearance work's what's dropped off. That's what they need to get right.
Win tonight and you play finals, lose, and you got to worry about next week, and your destiny could be taken out of your hands.
I just respectfully disagree here, because you're going to go down the same way that you've gone down.
No, I've changed my mind. You're right.
But I mean,
don't wilt to him too quickly, Simone.
You know, at three-quarter time, you know it's going to happen if this margin stays like this. Maybe we can't protect this lead. So timing forward half here, it's that number there, you're never going to win if they allow it to keep played in one half of the ground.
Co-captain Harris Andrews today had a clear path and avenue to be able to take the mark. Rayner to his feet, ups that potential havoc. High ball, Berry and Bailey, Hipwood. Now reveal, step through, Charlie Cameron. He had that steely look, and the star from within emerges at the right time. He can still do it, Charlie Cameron. And big problems for Justin Longmuir. He curses quietly under his breath, but
well, the problem is it's not just the ball movement, it's everything else with Fremantle's game that's out of whack at the moment. It's the pressure, it's the defence, it's the clearance work. And yes, the ball movement's part of the issue, but they can't handle the pressure at the moment.
No, so the credit all goes to Brisbane. So you can focus on Fremantle.
Yeah, this was the area that the coach fingered straight away after the game last week.
Yeah, so that's and the ability for Fagan to focus on one poor performance last week and turn that around.
Plus 11 tonight.
It's plus 11 tonight. So very coachable with the players and coaching the right thing if you're Chris.
That's a great point. So it's all good and well to put something in place. Then you've got to go out and execute. And there's, like right across the ground, you're looking at Fletcher and Cluggage, you know about. Ashcroft was great early. Wilmot off the back. Dunkley does what Dunkley does. They're so honest. Brisbane.
For those that have joined us on Channel 503, Brisbane have kicked the last 4 goals after a tight first half. And Fremantle are right on the back foot. They need their stars to lift. Bolton long to the square. Tracy! He's there, most. Oh no! A calamity. Voss goes in. A disaster.
It's a Nick Rewalt moment. It's just all going wrong, and the one winner down there gets a chance to kick from the square and does that.
And all Zorko's thinking about is kicking it long down the middle to rub it in to Fletcher, and it might still come to pass. Out wide to Archie. Look at that.
That hurts. It hurts. They kicked 3 goals for the game, but they needed something before three-quarter time. The one man that looks to be the winner and makes that decision. And then you called it, Hutto. Dane Zorko said, right, cop this. Bang, straight down the middle.
And Darcy Gardner has got, Darcy Ford has got forward and kicked a goal tonight. So has Ryan Lester.
Brought up the ton. Brought up the ton. They average a high 90s in the game. There's a quarter and a bit to go. 93 again.
Even the crowd are a little bit shell-shocked at the moment.
More than a little, I think, Simo.
Yeah, I think they're stunned, and they're just having memories of a disaster that they coughed up last year.
Here is a golden opportunity. Maybe it's Murphy Reid. 50 metres out and closing. Let's go to the kid.
Yeah.
If all else fails, he is a rising star, whether he wins the award or not. Murphy Reid steps forward. Bit of Akadaka, maybe that'll do the trick.
They play that all the time here. I mean, he's my rising star for this year. He just bobs up at the right time. He doesn't need 30 possessions. He's done this multiple times this year when the team needs something different. A bit of a wobbler, but still, he's got that goal sense. And the one thing Fremantle do have, they've got this inner belief that they can come back from anywhere. Now, this is going to take a lot of work. You're going to need 1 or 2 before three-quarter time. But they are used to this situation, and they know that it can't win the game in the next 5 minutes, but you can lose the game.
Put the goal into context. So you just had the Tracy moment. So you just had the big, powerful forward just make a bad decision. And then the first year says, well, give it to me. I'll drag one back from 50. So there's life, and the Fife man's not far away.
Still in the warm-up room.
Well, he's not going to get noticed in the warm-up room.
Fort can't get the ball to ground, but he gets taken there instead by Darcy.
So 5 in the last 7 games, they've trailed at three-quarter time by 8 points or more.
Still warming up, bit of reach for the ball. Look at, it was Reid again with a reflex handball to Sarong inside Gardner. Couldn't stop Tracy completely. And now Svikowski is normally great at sharing and creating goals. Tracy, Bolton, time for a step left and right. He can't get through. They're hard to stop at the best of times. Erasmus takes a fling. It won't get there either. Andrews is enough.
It's just there's a little hint of maybe we might see something here.
There's a very wide re-entry from Zorko that time. Maybe that's a reflection.
Yeah, well, they will protect as well as anyone. They make good decisions. They're so well drilled. No unnecessary. And I reckon they'll be picking that off through the middle between now and three-quarter time.
Snapper in the road of Berry. Eventually gets the kick down the line. Opens up for Banfield. Plays it into the pocket over Voss's head, though. He had no play on the ball at all. Fletcher.
3 minutes to go. If you're Brisbane, I'm not quite sure you can control the whole 3 minutes. But this is the way they've been playing, isn't it, all night?
And Marshall takes off. Kicks towards Gardner and Tracy, who drift up on the wing. Erasmus would probably like that handball back. He actually gets it back himself through Marshall's defences. Now Ashcroft grits the teeth, wins it and got through. Magic work from Ashcroft, and so much for Gardner.
They've just stepped up around the clearance positions as well, Gary. It's been a real success indicator throughout the night. Second quarter they dominated and just turned a little bit. These situations, Brisbane are trying to crowd the stoppage.
Lions by 24 on the attack through Brayshaw. Over Voss's head, extra reinforcements back there. We see this, don't we? Archie goes back.
On cue it was too for Simo. The clearance win was magnificent.
It's too easy.
Down.
Yeah, they're coming at the front like that. It's not good enough if you're Brisbane.
Andrews is on the ground, so there wasn't an attainable target. Instead, Wilmot goes to the animated Zorko, who was just wasting a bit of time, very cleverly disguised. Crowd don't like it. They weren't fooled. Long down the line. Rayner over the top of the pack. No mark. Again Marshall in the thick of it. Dunkley to Rayner. Couldn't go ahead. Sarong through the tackle. Little handoff on relay to McCluggage. A bounce and then the kick is a choice one. It's Bruce Reville with the juggle.
Worked it beautifully. Just held off until he broke for a lead, and now he should just take the 30 seconds here, Big Brucey. Take the 30 seconds. We've got a minute and 40 odd to go. This was a really good understanding. You can't tackle this bloke, Cameron. It's impossible.
But only his second full game for the year last week. He's helped with the help of the reinforcement in defence. He finds himself forward tonight. Bruce from 55. Not so special. And it's through from behind.
So Archie behind the footy, as you called it, just protecting the back half.
I'm sure this works as much as it used to, Gary. The +1, it sort of guarantees field position for the opposition, but when there's only a minute or two to go, it's
right to Pearce. Now the umpire says it is a Brisbane free.
He tried to block him but tunnelled him in the process, not maliciously, but just got his timing wrong.
Wilmot gonna roll it in there, looking for a jumper at the front. It was Rayner. Strength through a tackle or strength in the air. He can hurt you in so many ways, Cam Rayner. And the pain is very real for Fremantle right now.
He loves this spot. He goes around the corner as well as anyone. He's at a second quarter of impact goals, hard to come by. 4 to 9. He's going to potentially kick his second.
He doesn't have to play 4 quarters to deliver a fatal blow, Cam Rayner. He can cut you to pieces in one. And quiet in the crowd. Those hopes are dwindling.
Well,
What a player and what a team they are.
Gaz called it. He called it at half-time. He's had 7 possessions. He's kicked 2 goals. He's inserted himself in the game. He started by coming up at stoppages and ripping through. I think when he gets his head in the trough, Gaz, that's when he starts to get going, get dirty, get some clearances, and then the rest of his game comes into play. And for a 5'11", 6-footer, he's got this tremendous strength. You can't tackle him, and he's got good aerial presence.
It's a really hard matchup, obviously, and I saw this 2 weeks ago. So he and Bailey against Collingwood had minimal impact in the first. He's got the shoot McGavin going. Had minimal impact in the first half, but they explode in the second. So it's to be applauded. You know, make sure that a bad half doesn't become a bad game.
17 of his 27 goals have come in second halves this year. Cam Rayner, 24 seconds. Time enough for either side. It could be Brisbane. Dunkley's awkward kick. Morris came, so did Cox. At the back, time on his side, Warner to Wagner. Slight fumble below the knees. Cox gave him away, out and away forward. Up goes Reid. Is there time? It's less than 5 seconds. You wouldn't think so. Voss, one last hurrah. High ball from Chapman is not to be. So the margin is 31 points. And the only thing really on Fremantle's side is this recent history. In the last 7 games, they've been able to come from behind 5 times in three-quarter time. The difference, though, is stark, isn't it? The biggest margin there is 13 points. So it's 31. It must be time for one of the greatest Dockers of all time. Nat 5 from what could be his last home appearance. Can he put the cape on one more time? We'll find out shortly. 31 points in it. The back-to-back Brisbane Lions. That's what they're hoping to be. Have a 5-goal lead.
All right, there we go. Unfortunately, three-quarter time, the Lions are extending their lead. 10-8, 68, the Lions. Well, the Dockers 4-13, 37, 17 scoring shots to 18. This margin getting out a little bit. What do we got? 28 and 3, 31 points. Three-quarter time. I tell you what, you're right, Stephen. I'd be satisfied if Freo could finish the game off with 4 goals. I tell you what, even if Freo go down in this game, they certainly want to go down fighting this game out, putting everything they've got into it, make a real charge to it. 31 points. It's doable. It's doable if everything goes their way. Look, there was a couple of bad errors. Tracy should have just went back, taken the mark, slotted the goal. There was a couple there. Jackson, a couple of times he got run down. Freo should have got goals out of those. There's 3 goals Freo should have got. They didn't quite get in that third term. They're giving it a good crack. Wowee. It's a hard fight tonight, Addy. You still got next week to try again, I know, against the Western Bulldogs. I tell you what. Wowee. All you can hope is West Coast can beat the Western Bulldogs this week. They nearly beat Adelaide. Last week. You just never know. And it all depends on the other games, of course. Look, the Gold Coast Suns should beat GWS Giants tomorrow. Actually, while you're sitting there, let's have a little bit of a look at this ladder, Eddie G. There we go. The Giants tomorrow playing the Gold Coast. I tell you what, we'll give the Gold Coast an extra win. Let's just say that they beat Essendon, because in that other game played tonight, St Kilda 77 defeated Essendon 75. You would think Gold Coast will beat Essendon, so that'll take them up to 60. So the good news is Gold Coast are playing the Giants tomorrow, so you'll certainly be hoping that the Gold Coast win. If Freo don't win this game, it's going to be pretty tough, I think, for them to make top 4. I think Adelaide, Brisbane could just about hang on. Geelong will definitely be there. Not sure about the Pies. Gold Coast will probably make that 4th spot, I would imagine. Freo, Collingwood, Hawthorn, the Giants, the Bulldogs will probably battle out bottom 4 in the top 8. But that being said, Hawthorn have got to play Melbourne. You just never know. That's at the MCG tomorrow. So a couple of cracking games, and of course Adelaide taking on Collingwood. tomorrow night, which is going to be a ring-a-ding-ding game. That'll be fantastic. And, of course, Sydney taking on Geelong. So that'll be another interesting game there. If Sydney Swans can win, then that'll lead top 4 open. You know, sometimes it just all comes down to that final game. You got to win it. But 31 points the margin here at three-quarter time. Look, the Dockers aren't out of it, but I tell you what, this is a mighty margin for them to peg back, especially against Brisbane, who we know normally come home strong. So it's going to be tough. You know, I think 31 points. Dockers have got to kick 6 goals without Brisbane getting 1. So that's going to be a tough point. But I think for the Dockers, look, get out. Or you're out there. I don't know why Fife wasn't on. I didn't see Fife come on unless I missed that. So surely if he's around, he'll be on. 31 points. Yeah, they want to do everything right, get everything going and flowing, get everything set, even if they go down in this game to prepare themselves for next week, because that's going to be a tough game. I think that's at Marvel Stadium next year. You tip Brisbane to win the premiership this year, looking good now. I don't think Brisbane are a chance at all. I think Brisbane are as much chance of winning the flag as Collingwood, which is, well, at the moment, I think, unfortunately, I think it's, like 10%, 15%. I still think, I still think Adelaide are going to be super hard to beat. Super duper hard to beat. You know, surprisingly enough, Eddie, it could come down to Adelaide Gold Coast Grand Final. That's the way it's looking. They're probably the 2 informed teams at the moment. But look, things have changed. We've chopped and changed throughout the last 6 weeks, 8 weeks of who we think's going to make the top 8, the top 4, the grand final, who's going to win. It just changes. I tell you what, you've got to be running into form right now, leading into the finals. And of course, look, I don't know whether Brisbane are in that great a form just at the moment. Adelaide are the ones who are really strong at the present time. So I think Adelaide is certainly the ones to beat this year in the flag. All right, hey, let's head back down to the ground. 31 points the margin here going into the final term. We want to see Dockers hit back hard. We want the Dockers to come out getting the first 4 goals. All right, let's head back down to the ground for the final quarter. It's the Lions by 31.
So maybe Fife can put the cape on. We'll find out in the first few minutes what sort of mindset they got. They've got to reel in 31 points against the reigning premier, who have been absolutely superb tonight. So Zach Bailey's been outstanding. McCluggage in the middle. Dunkley's there as well. Oh dear, we'll find out early.
How big these first few minutes of the final term. It's a 31-point margin. Finals is the carrot for the winner tonight. They'll take some hunting down. It starts now. Fought the tap. Darcy Fife straight into it. Can that lift them? Wobbling ball forward for Tracy. Switkowski. Here comes Erasmus. Pulls the kick back, and all it did was set up nicely for Harris Andrews.
Wagner was the sub, boys.
Yep,
for Fife.
So he was one of the ins tonight, and he's back on the bench now. Starcevic. Darcy gets back up against Fort. Up comes Cameron to meet it. And a hankering to hand pass, but he still has the wheels to get himself clear. You could see the kick was audacious, and it wasn't far off from being successful. Wobbles inside 50. Chapman, Banfield, pinned back all the way to fullback to Cox.
They had a chance early, I'm sorry. Erasmus has got to hit that kick. That's not good enough early when you're trying to reel in 31 points. That's a horrible miss.
Cox and Bailey upended.
Yeah,
in the free.
In that play, Fife was in the corridor on his own.
Little short was on offer for Cameron, and that was all he needed to McCluggage.
I know it might sound harsh, but the fact that Erasmus was on the left foot early in the game, had Patrick Voss on that lead, and you can't make that kick, that just says you're not good enough. You're not good enough because this is cutthroat footy, and your winner, you go through the finals, and you miss that kick, you now might be staring down the barrel of a 37-point loss deficit.
The set shots can be where it's at on a night like this. It can be the difference between winning and losing, playing finals and not playing finals. And right now, the Brisbane Lions are going to be there in September, and we just don't know about Fremantle.
Well, that's the difference right there. I mean, that's a tough kick from outside 50. Hugh McCluggage goes back and nails it, mate. and Erasmus can't hit a 15-metre kick on his left foot. That is the fundamental difference. And right now, all the doubts and all the concerns about Fremantle that you hope they put to bed are just raising their head again.
Yeah, well, you're right. They haven't relied on their skill, Gary. It's been other parts of the game that have been just too good, whether it's contest, clearance, positioning system. When it comes down to ball movement skill, it's not their biggest strength. So there's no doubt the anchor's been lifted and the button's been pushed. And
the Lions
look at that ladder.
Vaulted up to second.
What about that? They're coming in here a chance to miss the finals, and they're now in second place on the line ladder.
So many other possible combinations on the weekend they'll be watching, but Fremantle have to get to work. Brayshaw knows that. They all do. Gardner come out feet first. Erasmus, the handoff he needed to Fife. Back to Brayshaw. Top of the square at the back. Jackson one bite. Voss. Is it time for the Prancer? Back he goes to Bolton. On the left boot to the square. Jackson can't take the mark. And instead it's Berry and Fort. Still took a lot of skill from Bailey not to turn it straight over, and then a shove for good measure, and not a good shove according to the umpire.
He's going to make, Bolton saw it, Brayshaw's got to make some amends, because he had another chance going inside 50 with no pressure and kicked it over their head. It's just, it grows on itself, and in the end, you're just not good enough. Puts this through, you might
Doesn't take the shot. Top of the square, Jackson! You can see the urgency now with Luke Jackson. He knows what it takes to play finals footy and to succeed when you get there. He knows this is an enormous task. No time to waste. Takes the mark. Someone had to provide a grab deep. And someone has to go back and convert that opportunity. It starts with Luke Jackson. How far can it go?
So they get away with this one, but Simo, please, your vice captain charging through the middle of the ground. You've got all the space in the world. You've won a centre bounce. Fife's got involved. That wasn't the one.
No, I know the one you're talking about. Look, it's important, and I get what you're saying. But at the moment, their leaders are standing up. The last couple of minutes, the ball's in Brayshaw's hands, in Jackson's hand. Sarong needs to get going. If there's any chance to get back in this game, they're not going to win this game in the next 2 minutes. It'll take to the last minute of the night. So it's a long way back. Is the belief still there? Can their leaders get the job done? They've done it before. It's against Brisbane.
Yeah.
But you're right, the skill level tonight has not been up to standard for a game like this.
What a sight, sweeping back from the city to Optus Stadium in Perth, out of the middle. Darcy to hand off to Fife. The excitement builds and the expectations quelled by Wilmot. Couldn't be taken by Berry. Tracy did to Frederick. All night he's been waiting, and again he misses Frederick.
Yeah, all the things are starting to come together again like the second quarter. Clearances, centre bounces, just not finishing at the moment.
Fletcher targets Fort, and he had the size and the will to drag the mark down.
Fife's had an impact. He's had 3 touches. He's got a centre bounce clearance. You get another golden opportunity, and you let it slip through your fingers.
Premiership player Darcy Fort has carried a big load. The injury to Oscar McInerney, who was emergency tonight. He's made the trip over here. They're still hoping he can play enough AFL footy and be part potentially of the finals campaign.
And if you're Chris Fagan, he's nowhere near satisfied just yet. He's still on the edge. These types of plays are critical.
Rucks exchange positions. Fort Knox. Dunkley handballs. Revealed. Good leads on the angle. There was a plethora of them. Bailey gave it back to McCluggage. He sees gaps. He finds his way through. Rayner keeps everyone guessing. And the kick fell short. O'Meara doesn't quell. Under pressure, Clark is good enough to break through and use his natural speed. Frederick was a different plan altogether. Off to Pearce. Now Tracy will need all his marking skills.
Going to go aggressive through the middle here. Conservative 2-on-1.
Well, there's a big shove from Andrews on Voss.
The wrong play.
Back to Marshall. Morris is the deepest.
Keep their head about it. It was a professional Brisbane team. They will burn the clock if they don't man up.
Both were screaming to the umpire. Over the head of Ford, but he has the backup. Leicester. Mistakes are covered for the Lions tonight. Another loose man inside the 50, and it's Marshall.
Not sure if that was meant to go there, but it did, and that's the story of the night, isn't it? The efficiency in the front half seems to have taken over now. And to come off that down-the-line kick that you spoke about, Gary.
Yeah, I think that it gives you the inside. And so Josh Tracy takes a great mark. We look inside. Yeah, it's a bit iffy, but they're in an iffy position. And they had probably a 4-on-2, and he went conservative down the line to a 2-on-1.
Just his 6th game. Sam Marshall for his 2nd goal in AFL footy on a night that has all the hallmarks of a final. Set shot missed. There's the crowd. Almost at capacity. 54,000. Kath?
Well, it's a new record for a non-derby game, but they're a little bit quiet at the moment. They're starting to get into it, sensing a bit of an opportunity.
Yes, 53,000 are pretty quiet right now. They need a lift from Ryan.
So this is where they've got to be a bit creative and inventive and take a bit of a risk. Get out of the hole if you're in the hole. Work, keep moving until something opens up.
Frederick. Voss again got worked under the ball by Andrews.
That's what Harris wants. He wants it like that.
And it's happening time and time again.
Well, you would think that there's still 3 quarters to be played. We're getting down to, 13 and a half minutes. They're 31 points down. They kicked 5 goals for the night. Not long, slow down the line. That's the criticism of the club that's been there for a long time, and they've gone back to bad habits.
Zorko. Wide ball, Morris again, Rayner. Had to be taken care of in the air. Look at the high fives for the Brisbane players. They know they're doing everything right for now, or enough right.
How good are they been?
Yes.
I mean, here
Really
they
mature.
are.
Really mature.
5 goals plus on a cutthroat night here, and they've owned the game from the opening quarter where they kicked the only 3 goals. It's been an enormous performance.
Fife tried to come sweeping through. Darcy Ford getting better and better. Berry just taking a fraction high. Has improved the mood of the 54,000. Jared Berry from his wing to full forward. Hipwood gave a little shove, got back to the footy. Morris instead. His blame at disposals goes straight to Banfield. Works it out of defence. Ball stands to attention. Well, there's a shove against Brayshaw. They can't take a trick at the moment. Free to Berry, and he looks a little bit sore, and he's had the troublesome shoulder over the journey.
It's popped out, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was right in front of us, boys. It's a nasty left shoulder dislocation. He's in real pain.
Can you get him back in? Barry, is it?
Pav, what are you sensing down there from a Fremantle perspective?
Well, we just did that last stoppage. Brisbane were the loudest. They were directing, they were instructing each other. There's the dislocation. But let's hope he isn't too bad there as he does head off. But yeah, they were the ones that were really aggressive and assertive with their voice as compared to Fremantle. So you're going to stay out of yourself and not go into it.
Perhaps there, Jared Berry. It's such an important player. Free kick to Brisbane.
Morris got pushed under the footy, I reckon. Come out.
So he's had the 50-metre penalty. He had the downfielder in front of goal. And he's lining up again for his 3rd. He's closing in on 50 goals. It's enormous. Quite phenomenal. And you look back through the history books, the players at his age, again, we watched Jared Berry heading straight to the room.
He's been good tonight, Jared.
Is that a season-ending injury, Gary, or is it a...
I don't know. I think history says it's not great.
For a 3rd for Logan Morris, who continues to be pivotal in this Brisbane forward set-up, certainly in terms of their tools.
Well, it revolves around him, Hutto. He's just assumed the whole lead. He's gone past Eric Hipwood as the leader of that forward group. It looks like Brisbane are about to activate the sub. What a big moment it is for this young man.
Beacon, South Australian premiership player with Woodville West Torrens, has been in the VFL after mid-season draft last year. 23-year-old about to get his chance. And who knows where it might take him this year. Swarm for the footy. Comes out to Erasmus. Ashcroft found a way to compete, found a way to win the ball, serve it up for Rayner, and then Fremantle lifted when required.
This is where they're going to go for the corridor, boys. Fife has been standing there for the whole quarter. It's almost his role as a midfielder just to stand in that position. And
every exit from this defence this quarter has gone boundary side, except that. That's better.
To Clark. And clean to Warner. And to the outside. Ryan has that wing to himself for now. Short to Fife. Can they find something, some spirit for the dual Brownlow medalist? Frederick was a standout target. Couldn't quite be met. Again, this Brisbane defence closing gaps, making life difficult. Reveal just enough on the kick to Bailey.
Difference, isn't it? The midfield's been well beaten tonight, Fremantle. I mean, Sarong's had the 5 possessions in the second half. When you play Jackson as a midfielder, he needs more than 11 possessions. Wagner, who's been subbed off. Bolton's only had the 8 touches. Hasn't been a good night for Fremantle, and that's been what's kept them down in games is their midfield. They haven't had the same powers recent weeks.
Marshall. The onus is on Fremantle to try and force an error. Sarong closes but doesn't close out. Marshall still has the ability to hit a target. Dunkley off to Ashcroft Jr. Low ball. It's another downfielder, is it?
Coming back. So this is a reminder of Brisbane's strength as well. It's just how well coached they are. When they've had their moments through the year when they haven't either been there mentally or not as turned on and switched on. When they are, which was so evident early, then they're still a ferociously hard team to beat.
He almost ripped it Dunkley instead of his Reed to Sarong. And a slip shot handball on. Leicester's serving it up for Archie, and they've just about drained Fremantle mentally here.
Starting to feel a little bit like, you know, when you can't win a final, it's like Mad Mondays in a couple of days, and it can really blow out.
It is.
There is next week for Fremantle.
I know, but it just feels
I agree.
The whole crowd, I think the supporters come to see something a bit different tonight.
Yeah. And now their whole reason for being rests next week.
On the road, they'll have to go. Archie's kick fades to Gray across the face.
And this Brisbane side have done it as hard and had to do it as hard as any team in recent years.
Extraordinary fixture they've had, isn't it?
Yep.
And the injuries that have come late in the season from the ex-Docker, Lockie Neal, 3 or 4 of their premiership defenders as well. They got a couple back, and what a difference Starcevic and Leicester have made.
They're 31 points down, 33 points down here, Fremantle.
Kick goes wing side over Jackson's head, and Day takes a juggling mark.
3 times now they've done that.
It's been a horrible last quarter here for them.
Morris claims the mark. This time he doesn't have the umpire's whistles to support him.
When you're trying to get into the game, Gary, you encourage handball. Just get some handball receives. Let's get some run from behind. No down the line kicks. It's not a difficult call to make.
Do you think they're not adhering to it? Surely the instruction has been to do exactly that and take the game on.
Ashcroft and Marshall. He's got it again, Morris.
I talked to pre-game to the Brisbane coaches. I said, what is it about this young man that has impressed you? And they said they were surprised about how quickly he came on. But then when you strip it back and you look back and go, no, he was ahead of everyone in terms of reading the ball and how where it's going and where he needs to run. Yeah, exactly.
Footy IQ, that's what they all say.
Yeah.
He could have been. In fact, he thought he was going to be a West Coast Eagle. They took Archer Reed,
Really?
1 pick ahead of him. As the young man coming on.
Throw him up here.
Pure kick from Logan Morris to put it beyond all doubt. A third for Logan. 46 goals for the season for the 20-year-old.
It's an important part of recruiting. You know, you've got your competitive instinct, you've got your talent, you've got your skill, but what is your footy IQ, and how do you measure that when you're in a recruiting space? How do you test it when really you need to see them train and play to a level that's above theirs to say, okay, he's actually picked this up, and every level you go up, you get more and more adapt to it. So Reed's got that for Fremantle, and this guy's got it in space.
So what does it look like? It's that mark is what it looks like. It's reading it quicker than anyone else and getting there a step ahead of everyone else. How many times do you see him? He doesn't take the pure fly over the top clunk marks. He finds himself just in the front of a big pack just at the right time.
As a key forward, what's the number one cue that you do read? Is it the ball or is it your positioning?
Ball in flight and react. How quickly you react and how well you read the drop of the footy. He's an absolute jet. He gets better every week.
He's only 191 centimetres, so he needs all of that, and they are streaming out of the middle. Bailey takes them to deep water over the head of Day. That time Pearce with the mark.
Zach Bailey's credentials as a footballer have gone up. This is as close to a final as you can get, and he's dominated.
He's done in grand finals, of course, as well. Kick big goals. The tightrope there. Darcy to Frederick. Try and get in sync. Amos leads up to the ball. The kick goes long to Tracy, but Andrews from nowhere, Harris. You expect it though, don't you? That is a big high five from Harris Andrews. Celebrating everything. And it's a limping, sore Fremantle team right now.
Haven't had to lay a tackle the Brisbane Lions this quarter. That's how easily they're doing it off the bit.
Oh, very low tackle numbers in their entirety, aren't they, for the night? Darcy to Marshall. Back to McCluggage. A stabbing ball for Archie. How huge is that match next week going to be for Brisbane against Hawthorn?
They'll be without Neil and Barry now. So the numbers, I'll lose another one, which all credit, they're missing 8 or 9 players tonight, let alone next week.
Here's Beacon getting his first touch. It was a bit of a rushed one. Back to the wing, but he'll get a better look at it now. Get to feel what it's like to be an AFL footballer. Been a long time coming for it. He looks to run and link up again, and he will. Ashcroft reading the cues, and maybe the pace is just up a little.
Very smart football man has just sent a message and said, well, we want Fremantle to raise an effort in the last quarter, but they've been defending uncontested marks for 3 quarters and run themselves ragged and got nothing left. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. A sort of bit of the old DNA that West Coast used to do. Halfway through the third, we felt teams would get fatigued defending so much as we see it.
Yep, Bolton gets it to Strakowski and then DeVos, but it's not getting DeVos tonight. He has got the pony well and truly under his guard, Harris Andrews.
Miniature pony tonight.
Now, I wonder whether they'll look at that again, whether the miniature pony needs to be let loose and play with a bit more freedom. I know he's done jobs throughout the course of the year and been able to kick goals still.
It's the system they've gone by. It's worked. They've won 10 out of 11 games.
Yeah.
It's been a good run, and they got beaten by a better side tonight.
No, that's fair. That is fair. But you would like to have been a bit more adventurous, but maybe they are cooked.
Archie was the leaper. And the scamperer inside 50 to Bailey. Over to Charlie Cameron. Get ready for a party next week, Charlie.
Oh, it's got the third tier, that one.
Sheer delight for Charlie Cameron. He's kicked his third. He's back amongst the goals. And he's loving footy. It's going to be a big week for Brisbane as they search next week for top 4 if other results go their way. But it'll be a triple milestone night for them against Hawks, with Dane Zorko playing game number 300. Consider that he started as a 23-year-old. Charlie Cameron started at Adelaide Crow, of course, played in a grand final. He'll play 250, and Eric, the Big Easy, coming in for his 200th game next week.
Jeez, that is a big night against the Hawks. Bailey outstanding again. He's been the positive, Charlie. He's back a little bit to it.
Got to go early on in the game, and sometimes that just frees you up a little bit when you hit the scoreboard.
Yeah. 300 for Dane Zorko. What a player he's been. How many? 5 best and fairest?
Yeah, and debut older than Craig Bradley, who went on to play 70-odd games or something, so he's probably got a few more left in him, Dane.
There's 2 big storylines that emerge out of this, and that is Brisbane first and foremost, who are back and, well, not back, but when they play like this, it's just going to be so hard to beat. But the other one is going to be enormous, the Freo storyline.
And the other storyline for Fremantle is, are we seeing Nat Fyfe for the last time in Perth? It'll be harder for them now to even host a. Potentially they could still host a.
They could, but gee,
elimination final.
How much damage does this do to you? And Simo makes a good point. They've been up for a long time, but just the manner that they've been beaten today, they've managed 5 goals for the night.
15 wins for the season. The poor percentage though, helping them. The win tonight, they would have been likely top 4 if they beat the Dogs next week, but instead unlikely to be able to make top 4, and if they lose both, every chance they'll miss altogether. Leicester jams it on the boot. Day, competitive, O'Meara. Not to be for Ryan, holding the ball.
When you review it, when you go back and look at this, they got mugged early.
Yep.
They just got mugged by a style of footy that either they weren't ready for or they couldn't defend.
I thought Brisbane last year built the game off that uncontested mark, and this year they've got, I mean, obviously they've got more weapons than just that, but this year, tonight in particular, they've gone back to their best in that space. They've had 135 uncontested marks, which if you spend all night defending that, you do get fatigued and your offence suffers for it.
Brayshaw and Ryan trying to put it together. Darcy, it's slapdash. Ashcroft.
So the Sarong situation, which you spoke about, he's had 4 in the third. He's so important to them, obviously. He's had 5 so far, so 9 in the second half after having a big say in the first. Was it mainly Dunkley?
Mainly Dunkley. They've shared it a little bit. Even just then we saw Ashcroft on him, but you've got to put some time into Sarong at the moment. It's Sarong or bust with Fremantle's midfield. It's definitely a concern. It's new too. This year's the first year he's been really tagged.
Morris pushing the line there, trying to get another 50. Archie, though, unfettered access to the footy. And he's going to rub a little bit more salt into the wounds and erode a bit more of percentage from Fremantle.
Young's important too, Gary. Missing him, I know Brisbane, they're another level. Let's be honest. Tonight they're another level than
Let's
Fremantle.
prove that in your mind.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the problem with Brisbane is they're not doing it 2 weeks in a row. They'll go home next week and you don't know what you're going to get. It's this type of Brisbane that is almost the best in the comp. It's just what they do the next week.
One of the stars of last year's final series is Kalachi back home in WA. And so proud of what has become of his footy career after all his injury setbacks early. Look at the love amongst the Lions.
It's a 51-point belter.
It is, yep.
It's a smashing away from home when everything's on the line. So and Morris again involved. Just class act. And away from home against a team that had been in as good a form as anyone, and just expose their cracks. And I guess this is what pressure does. It just opens up the cracks. And when the chances were there and presented themselves, even in this last quarter, those early looks that they had, Brayshaw and Erasmus and even Fife with his kicking going inside, they're just not there. I don't know if they believe. That's still going to be the question, whether they truly believe they're capable of doing what Brisbane have been able to do.
Freo fans will now take to barracking for other teams like Melbourne to upset the Hawks and the Eagles to upset the Doggies. And of course they have to do the job next week against the Western Bulldogs on the road. Brayshaw to Fife. Switkowski. Fife had kept on running in case he felt like giving it back to him. But
Just not enough players stepping up tonight. Switkowski's only had the 8 possessions. Fife's had a reasonable impact in the last quarter. Brayshaw been off. Jackson hasn't had the same impact.
Freo fans also be hoping that the Gold Coast can beat GWS. That's another team that they'll be able to stay ahead of. Starcevic puts length on the kick. Clark tries to smash it back. Beacon.
The other thing too is the percentage. The percentage is important, and I'm sure we'll have a look at the live ladder sooner or later.
Yeah, theirs is not great. It might actually make much of a difference. Potentially, though, against the Giants, it could.
You got a draw, though.
The Dockers?
Yeah. No, sorry.
Yeah. 4. Just out of the hands of Voss. What a game this has been from Harris Andrews. Dictating terms back in defence. Without his fellow co-captain and Lockie Neal. Led brilliantly. And Marshall, another one who's come through their academy, played some junior footy in Melbourne. Got his chances the year's gone on. And the Soldiers, and they've lost another one tonight. And Jared Berry. That'll be significant in the aftermath of all of this. Starcevic just seeing out time right now. Crowd thinning. Archie.
Will they get 150 uncontested marks? They're under 145. Not sure what the record is this year, but I think much more than this.
Top 15, play on! Top 15, play on!
Just off to Fletcher.
The umpire doesn't want him to get to it.
Marshall had his arm chopped.
It'll be a big week in WA, boys.
But how's it going to be received? There's searing spotlight coming for them.
Reasonably big focus. There's only really one team competitive at the moment, and
Haven't played finals since 2022. So much will be riding on next week now for Justin Longmuir. No fast finish tonight for the Dockers. Totally overwhelmed by this Brisbane team. The appetite of this Brisbane Lions team certainly can't be questioned tonight, as we've seen them do time and time again on the road. Knocked out, maybe they'll ask to move next week's game onto the road. That's how well they've played.
Yeah, as big a story as the Dockers are.
Yeah.
Poor story for sure.
No doubt about that. At half forward, a bit more push and shove. But the game is decided. Is that the last disposal for Nat Fyfe at home? Time will tell. And Logan Morris might have the last shot for goal, coming off a free kick, which just about sums up the night. The Brisbane Lions have been able to do what the previous two premiers have not. They are going to play finals football. It's a matter of where they will finish. Next week will decide that. And for the Fremantle Dockers and their loyal fans, it's an all too familiar feeling. Demoralised tonight on the big Friday night stage. They'll have to do it all next week for Brisbane and their young tyro, Logan Morris. The goal is clear. The goal is back-to-back. And they are on target to achieve it in this most unpredictable, top-heavy season. The Brisbane Lions have done it again on the road. They are the competition's best travellers.
they are. Done it every second week of recent times. It's their at-home form that we'll be looking at next week. But Morris has kicked his 4 goals, just keeps finding a way.
And they've won they've lost just 3 of their last 24 games on the road. Let's get down to Kath Lockman.
Got one of the stars of the show alongside me, Zach Bailey. Congratulations. How satisfying is that? I mean, you haven't only beaten Fremantle, you've absolutely smashed them tonight.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable win. We know how hard it is to come here and win, and to our credit, we performed well on the road this year. We probably haven't done as well at home. So, no, super win, and yeah, very happy with it.
Why do you think that is so good on the road this season, and Gabba hasn't been quite the fortress it used to be?
Well, I think when you go away, especially here, it's pretty hostile. So to us, it's a big brotherhood game, and yeah, we all just get up for it. And we right from the very start, we're on with our pressure and just at him, and we thrive in these environments. So maybe that's something to do with it. I'm not actually sure.
You don't want a home final this season. Talk to us about the game plan tonight, because 47 uncontested marks in the first quarter really set the tone for what you were trying to do and had the game completely on your terms.
Yeah, that's what we tried to do. That's pretty much our game plan, is just build the ball up with uncontested marks. We probably weren't taking ground from those kicks that we tried to change that in the second half, and we were able to get through them.
A couple of goals for you tonight, but can you talk to us about your goal of the year contender? What were you thinking, and what did you think when you saw it went in and it was a goal?
To be honest, I don't know what went through my head to sort of kick it over my head like that. I don't think I've ever tried to do that before, so I'm pretty happy it went through, because I think I had Jared Berry running past for a handle, so I'm glad it went through.
So now you'll try it again. Zach, well done, and enjoy this win.
They rely so much on those medium mid-forwards, don't they, Simo? But they more often than not deliver. The brilliance and the strength of those two players.
I don't know if it's actually a reliant. It's sort of an even spread, isn't it? They all seem to bob up at the right time.
Back to you, Kath.
Yes, I've got the retiring legend alongside me, Nat Fyfe. It's been a big week for you. How are the emotions right now?
Yeah, a little bit of disappointment that we didn't have our best night tonight, but really grateful that everyone's turned out. I've had a amazing journey all across my career and always supported by our Fremantle family.
Did you enjoy the love this evening? There were plenty of standing ovations for you, and I think they absolutely cherished every moment you touched the footy in that last quarter.
They did. Very sweet. They've always supported me. I could hear them whenever I got the ball, which wasn't all that often, but it was nice that they come out.
It's a bit of a difficult one, isn't it? When you say you're going to retire at season's end, but you don't know when that end is going to be. So how do you process it right now, thinking this could be your last home game in front of the Fremantle faithful?
It's very strange. It's not my style to announce a retirement and then keep going. I would have liked to just disappear quietly, but we still have business to complete. I will soak in every single minute. This could be the last time I'm out here, and if that's so, that's okay.
All staying for you, Nat. Enjoy this. Well done.
Yeah, well done indeed. What an incredible player. We saw that vision at a half-time. He was a marking force, wasn't he, as a young player, and just an incredible warrior.
Yeah.
So much bad luck with injury, so resilient. 2 times a Brownlow medalist, a phenomenal player.
Yeah, look, I'll have the honour, I suppose, or the frustration of coaching him against him twice a year as a minimum, and very hard to match up on. Always delivered, played so well in big games.
So this is difficult, isn't it, for Justin Longview? They're lined up, and that's gone over to fulfil some obligations on the field. I think they might have been able to work
bit close. That wasn't
that.
us, was it?
No, that wasn't us.
Yeah, look, it's there's no perfect way to do it. You know, the perfect way to do it is what John Longmire did. Is your last game was a premiership.
Shane Crawford, let's get down to Kath.
Got Harris Andrews alongside me. We didn't know whether Nat Fyfe was being chaired off then, but let's enjoy this win for you, because this is a massive victory for the club, isn't it, in terms of those top 8 ramifications?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot on the line tonight, obviously. Just really proud of our group. I feel like we've had a little bit of a roller coaster the last couple of weeks, but our ability to respond when there's been a little bit of disappointment in results, I'm really proud of. So hopefully we don't have to do that too much more for the rest of the season, but it was a great win tonight.
I saw a few moments where you had the aggressive claps going, a big smile on your face. What did this mean to you in those last final quarter moments?
It's obviously exciting. I think as a group, particularly on the road, when you're playing in front of 55,000 Fremantle supporters, you want to bring some energy and bring a bit of life. And, we don't normally get to celebrate goals and stuff like that as defenders, so we celebrate little things like spoils and get a hand in and stuff. So it's a little bit of fun, carry on like a bit of a pork chop, but the boys enjoy it and it gets us going.
We love it too. What is it about this team on the road? Because it's quite a remarkable record.
Exactly sure. We seem to enjoy it. I mean, I'd love to bring the same energy at the Gabba next week against the Hawks. We know they're going to be red hot and ready to go. So, we'll have a good week on the track, make sure we review this game well, what we did well, where we can grow, and make sure that we're ready to go next week.
I know we just want to enjoy this win right now, but how big is that game going to be next Sunday night against Hawthorn? I think you've got a trio of player milestones to celebrate as well.
Yeah, we do. I think Hippie's 200, Chuck's 250 and Zork's 300. So a couple of our much-loved figures in our team, and we were going to do everything we can to try and get a win.
And now we'll let you pay tribute to that fight with the rest of them. Thanks so much for your time, Harris.
Thanks so much.
What a superstar, the captain of the Brisbane Lions, and speaking of superstars, Nat Fyfe is making sure he's sharing this with all his fans. Probably a little bit to the frustration of the Brisbane fans, Brisbane players, but they won't mind.
They wouldn't mind this. I mean, everyone appreciates,
a true champion.
Yeah, and the fact that you get a bit of time as an individual to acknowledge the crowd. And when you've won by 60 points, I think you can put up with it. It's a bit different, though, if you've lost by 60. They're quite frustrating.
Yeah, it's hard.
There's a lack of honour happening, but...
you never know, Simo. He could still play here again in a final. He game 246 today. He could play his 250th in the grand final.
You never know. I mean, they probably need to start him next week just to throw some caution to the wind. The midfield's been down. Fyfe at his best is an obvious selection choice, but I'm not sure subbing the whole way through a final series is going to work. So,
what a privilege it's been to witness the career of Nat Fyfe. It'll come to an end. Could be next week. Could be sometime in September. The true champion that he is recognised here in Perth at Perth Stadium, Optus Stadium, from his family and friends and teammates, and from everyone involved in footy, and I'm sure everyone watching around the country for all that he's given.
going through the family, I suppose, there. Fifey, doing the right thing.
Can't miss
out.
anyone.
No. If he starts talking to the crowd, we might have to wind it up a little bit, but a lot of people supporting him throughout his career.
And for Fremantle over the journey, I mean, their stars have meant so much to them, haven't they? Of course, beloved Matthew Pavlich.
Who's just higher? Who's higher on the totem pole?
Well, now that Pav's off to Sydney to be CEO, I think he's automatically demoted. But
okay, I'll tell him you said that.
I already said that to him. But a premiership, of course, for Nat Fyfe might have changed the stature, but I think Pav probably still sits atop for now. But Nat Fyfe has been amazing, and so with the Brisbane Lions, who can celebrate it with their fans that have made the trip.
Yeah, and Harris Andrews, he's led so well. They tried to tag him today. They couldn't get it done. Voss just couldn't stop his impact on the game. He just defended well, didn't he? He had 17 possessions. As we see the ladder, what do we make of this? Fremantle's percentage has dropped. It was sitting around the 111, 112 mark, and it's gone down to 108, which does matter if you're competing against GWS.
GWS would be the one, yeah. So their job now is to, depending on other results, is to win next week. And that means they will play finals footy. So they're on the road against the Western Bulldogs for the win next week. And keep them out of it.
Yeah, well, some great games coming up this weekend as well. Had a good taste of it tonight. And I know it blew out a little bit, but just had that big feel, that big game feel throughout the night. And Brisbane stood up.
Yeah, it's a lot to process for Fremantle, isn't it? We do have to think about next week because of that, unfortunately, they've let themselves down tonight against a team that they are the reigning premiers and their credentials are strong, but they were at home, they were in form, and the margin, the way that they lost would be a bit of disappointment.
If they don't make the finals, Fremantle, I think they'll reflect on the start of the year, not the finish. I mean, losing to Brisbane at home, it's not a total surprise for a young team coming through. But the way they started the season, started down at Geelong with a disappointing performance.
They had a shocker against St Kilda on
Friday.
Friday night.
And who knew that you had to win 15 games to make the finals? So, you know, for all the good form they've been in for a number of months, not weeks, for a number of months, at that start is probably going to cost them definitely a top 4 and hopefully not a top 8.
Well, how far can this Brisbane team go? As we know, they've lost another soldier tonight in Jarrett Berry, so that'll be one of the big questions in our post-match. We're going to head down to the rooms in just a moment as the Lions get down to revel in the victory. Another magnificent win on the road and a 7th consecutive finals series for Chris Fagan, something Lee Matthews didn't even achieve.
He's a master, isn't he? He built this list, really, when he got there. He went through some couple of hard times. And then the list is getting stronger. These kids coming through, like Fletcher tonight.
Yep.
He's had 32 possessions, 7 contested. He's had a great performance. Not a heap of score involvements. Zach Bailey's had 10 score involvements, but Cluggage, these types of players, there's plenty of years left in them. Where they're lacking a little bit is the height, the ruck situation. They're honest, the boys today. And the key forward, Day was on, they're not going to kick your bags, are they?
Sounds like in the future they might have a few to replenish in there.
Oh, yeah.
So the youngster on debut, Luke Beacon, gets to lead them down towards you, Gary Lyon.
Thanks, Hutto. You've got a very, very excited bunch of hardy Brisbane Lions supporters. I don't know if they've travelled from Queensland or they're here, but they're about to explode because this was an outstanding performance on the road. Chris Fagan sits quietly on a seat, on a plastic chair, and they're led in by Dane Zorko. And this is a very, very good footy side, Matthew Pavlich, and they made a mess of the Dockers tonight.
Oh, yeah, and they're very, very happy as well, so they should be, because right now they're going to celebrate the first game, and so they should.
We're in danger of getting squirted here, so...
But they were just magnificent all night, weren't they? Marvellous when it mattered most. Absorbed some of the stuff that Freo threw in the second quarter and just got to work.
There's no better place to be, Hutto, Adam Simpson, than a winning dressing room after you've been questioned somewhat. It's on the line. I think they're going to belt this one out big time here, and they deserve to.
All right, folks, there we go. Game, set, match. The Brisbane Lions 15-11, 101 defeating the Dockers 5-14, 44 big winners. Tonight, 57 points with the Lions. There's Nat 5. Waves to the crowd to say goodbye because it could be, well, his last game on the home stadium there in Perth for the good folk who have supported him throughout his career. Well done, Nat 5. Let's hope he plays more than one more game. Addy G. Of course, he's going to retire after the season. Is it going to be next week? Or is it going to be the week after? Or will he go out with a grand final medallion around his neck? Who knows? We'll certainly find out in the coming weeks. A little bit disappointing from the Dockers, though, in that final term. We thought they'd give a little bit more of a yelp. Of course, their percentage took a whack tonight, Brisbane Lions. They're guaranteed playing finals this year. Where they sit, though, it's still a week and a half away before we'll actually find out what's going on there. But a good workmanlike win there from the Lions. Of course, missing a couple of players. They'll miss a couple next week. I think a couple were either injured or so they were saying. But there we go. That is football. 62% of us went for Brisbane Lions in the chat tonight. Well, it wasn't quite the result we're looking for, but we'll have a look at the ladder in a minute. Let's just check the stats, the goal scorers. And, of course, Brisbane Lions doing the damage here. Logan Morris ended up with 4 goals, 2. Charlie Cameron, broom, 3 goals, 1 there for the Brisbane Lions. Cam Rayner, Zach Bailey, 2 apiece. Hugh McCluggage, Ryan Lester, Darcy Ford, Calamachi, all were singles. And, of course, for Freo, Josh Tracy was the best for them with 2 goals. Murphy Reid, Luke Jackson, Andy Brayshaw with singles. Disposal magnet out on the ground. Jasper Fletcher, the only one top in the 30s. On the ground, he was from Brisbane. 29 kicks, 11 handballs, 17 marks. Holy Toledo, Batman. That's got to be near record, 17 marks. Hugh McCluggage, 28. Zach Bailey. Zorko, 27. Caleb Sarong, best for Freo on 26. 11 and 15. 5 tackles, 11 clearances for him. There's, of course, Andy Brayshaw on 22. Most of the top possession getters out on the ground, of course, were from Brisbane. They all did pretty well. Josh Tracy just ending up with the 2 goals too this evening for Freo. Not quite enough. He did give his all there. Cam Rayner ended up with a couple of goals there for Brisbane. Charlie, as I said, 3 goals, 1, 13 possessions, 10 kicks. Ended up in a reasonably good game. There we go. Luke Jackson, a little bit quiet. He did a few good things. Unfortunately, he got run down a couple of times. Just the 11 disposals for him, 9 hit outs for there. And, of course, the prancing pony, well, he didn't hit a major. He was no chest pumping out there tonight. There we go. Played a full game, 7 disposals. Nat 5 coming on as the sub, the star Freo player. Could it be his second last game tonight? We'll have to wait and find out. Ended up with 8 disposals, 2 kicks, 6 handballs. He had 1 mark, 1 tackle, and a clearance for Nat 5. Would have been nice to see him score a goal to finish up with. Just looking at disposal count, there we go, 106 plus it was to the Brisbane Lions. Inside 50s, look, it was pretty even there, 48 to 51. It was just plus 3 to Brisbane. Disposal efficiency, really good from Brisbane Lions, up at 77%. There we go, well above season average. Of course, free kicks, the away team, Brisbane, plus 2 there. Pretty well umpired, though, for the evening. Dockers, though, crunching the Lions in the hit-outs. Clearances, though, Brisbane got on top around the stoppage clearances, 25-12, but the Dockers did do reasonably well around the centre clearances, 14-7. Tell you what, the Dockers, there we go. Contested possession, that was plus 13 to the Dockers. We won't worry about it. Uncontested. Turnovers similar, 65-66. Marks inside 50, they were plus 4 to Lions. Just a 10 to the Dockers. Contested mark, Lions a little bit stronger there. In the end, the contested mark, they were plus 5, 12-7. And of course, as I was saying before, really low tackle count from both sides. Yeah, I tell you what, both of these tackles need to put pressure on, more pressure. A high tackle count, 4 and 9 inside 50 tackles for both teams. Just looking at the ladder now. Of course, Freo go from 4th, drop down to 5th. They dropped that percentage down to 108. There we go. With the Gold Coast Suns still to play tomorrow, As I said, for the Freo supporters, this will be a game that they'll be watching closely. A couple of games tomorrow, Gold Coast and the Giants. This is a game that Fremantle will be definitely hoping Gold Coast can win, because Gold Coast do have that game up their sleeve when they play Essendon, and should win that game. So danger signs if the Giants win. So we'll be looking at Gold Coast winning that game for Freo. And of course, for Hawthorn, they play Melbourne. Well, it's a game you think Hawthorn would win, but Melbourne could come out and give them a little bit of a scare there. Of course, as I said, Geelong plays Sydney, and the Western Bulldogs play West Coast Eagles at Marvel Stadium. So that is a danger game. Of course, if the Giants happen to win, the Hawthorn win, Western Bulldogs win, oh, I tell you what, well, Freo have to beat Western Bulldogs next week. You would assume to make the top 8. With that percentage now, 6% under the Giants, that could be a real troubles for Freo. So Freo, again, a little bit like last year, comes down to the last game of the season. You have to win to play finals. That's what it comes down to. It's in your hands. It is in your hands. Addy G, it's in Freo's hands again. Pass away Nartine, the manager in the house. Shouty, shouty. So there we go, folks. There we go. So the games tomorrow, I should cover a couple of games tomorrow. I think I'll probably cover the Gold Coast Suns, GWS Giants. I think that's going to be a ring-a-ding-ding game. Should be a fantastic game. As I said, we're hoping for the Gold Coast to win that one. And of course, we should be covering the Adelaide-Collingwood game tomorrow night. That's going to be a cracking game. That could be an absolute smashing, or you just never know. I think Collingwood's won the last 10 games they've won against Adelaide, so we'll see whether that form holds up or recent form holds up. So that'll be an interesting game. And of course, we'll probably have a game on Sunday, I would imagine. Probably the Sydney-Geelong one should be a fascinating game. They'll probably be the games we'll cover for the rest of the weekend. So 2 tomorrow and probably 1 on Sunday, folks. If you want to tune on in, listen to the games, have a little bit of footy, chat with everyone in the chat. Fantastic. And, tip the team you think's going to win. Talk about your team. If, your team's not playing in the game, you can always talk about them in the chat. Everyone loves a bit of footy talk in the chat, because we all love footy. It's all good fun. All right, folks. Hey, I think that's all I've got for this one. Thanks, everyone, for tuning on in. Commiserations, Eddie G and all the Freo supporters. Congratulations to all the Brisbane Lions supporters. I tell you what, I'm sure the Freo supporters, and the Brisbane Lions supporters, they're going to be tuned on into some of these games coming up over the rest of the weekend. There's going to be a ring-a-ding-ding games coming up, and seeing where that ladder does unfold. Hey, folks, round 24 next week for these teams. As I said, it's going to be fantastic. For these two teams, again, you've got Brisbane Lions. They're taking on Hawthorn. Next week. So there you go. That's going to be a cracking game. And, of course, the Western Bulldogs will be taking on Fremantle. Talk about some games to be played. Wow-wee! That's going to be absolutely fantastic. And for all the folks in the chat right now, if you're wondering when that extra game, Essendon and the Gold Coast Suns, are being played, Essendon will play next Thursday night, which is the 21st of August. And, of course, then on the 27th of August, on the Wednesday, that's a Wednesday, the Gold Coast Suns will play that extra game against Essendon. There we go. So that's going to really take shape where teams will be sitting in the top 8 on the ladder. So we've been waiting for that extra game to be announced. And, of course, I see that game there now, 27th of August. I think that is pretty much, let me have a little bit of a look. Gold Coast Suns Friday. That'll give the Gold Coast 5 days a break. And then I think it's a week and a half after that game, and then finals will be on because they have the week off, but they've just got to play that game in between. So a couple of fantastic games coming up next week for both of these teams. Dockers versus the Western Bulldogs. Brisbane taking on Hawthorn. So that's going to be really, really interesting. Just looking back on here, Hawthorn here, I tell you what, hey folks, if you're a Freo supporter, get on board and cheer on Melbourne to win tomorrow. That's right. You want Melbourne to win tomorrow to beat Hawthorn. That leaves Freo still a game clear. And then Brisbane tackle Hawthorn the week after. You're still a chance Hawthorn could go out losing the next 2 games and Freo remain in the top 8. There we go. We never thought of that one, but it's possible. Anything is possible, folks. That is for sure and certain. All right, that is HKE, shouty. Oh, no. Oh, typo again. That's all right. We love typos here. We can understand. We can understand all lingos, all typos, some languages. No worries about that at all. If you put a typo in, hey, even I put typos in. Nothing's changed, HK. We all love our typos. There we go. But you're coming on the end. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well over there in the beautiful land of the Philly. Good stuff. But I tell you what, HK, that's all I've got for this one. That's all I've got for this live. Tomorrow, we'll be back tomorrow. As I said, let me just double check that time on that game starting tomorrow. That game starts tomorrow about 12:30, just after lunch. Melbourne time, Gold Coast Suns taking on the GWS Giants. That's the next game we'll be covering. Hey, if I'm awake, I'll set my alarm just for everyone out there to tune on into the game. Good to hear you. Good. That's great stuff. Yeah, not going too bad here. Just kicking back, relaxing, enjoying the footy. And we've got this week and next week, and then we're into the finals. The big games start in the finals. Everything starts to heat up. It's a whole new ball game when the finals come along, and that's when the best footy starts. And hopefully we get some great games. Tell you what, we've still got some great games coming up this weekend and next weekend, so don't miss them. Don't miss those games coming up. Oh, it's going to be exciting. Thanks, HK. Long time no see. Great to see you. Addy G, Tine, thanks for dropping on in, as always. Thanks, Sophie. Steve, J-Ma. Good stuff. All right, folks, HK. I'm out. I am finished. I am done. I am dusted. It is coffee time. I'm going to put the kettle on. Let me go make coffee, put my feet up, and relax. All right, folks. That's all I got for this one. So until tomorrow, ciao for now. We'll see you at the next game.